Charles Haley. You're listening to Nothing But Niners.
This is Kyle Juszczyk, and you're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handle, swings to his right, goes to his 20. He leads 30, takes the tight end. He comes back to the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30, he's down to the 20, he's down to the 10, he's down to the 5, he's into the end zone. Touchdown, touchdown, 49ers. 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle, swings down the sideline, throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He does it. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell intercepted. The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown. No greater redemption.
San Francisco 49ers. We can do whatever we want.
Click, click, boo. Boo. Let me do it again. I know I should be a little bit more emphatic, right? Click, click. Three consecutive games. 3 consecutive wins for the Cincinnati Bengals. All against NFC West opponents. 3 consecutive losses for the San Francisco 49ers. I got a lot to say, and I'm watching the time so I can make sure I can start cursing and saying exactly how I feel. Guys, it's about to be bad. If this is your first time watching the show, if you're a passionate fan, if you want to hear people tell it like it is, tell you how they feel, this is the channel to subscribe to. Subscribe. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we are going live. Give us a follow on some of our social media platforms. We have Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. Those handles are Nothing But 9 ERS. That's the number 9, Nothing But 9 ERS. We have Facebook and Twitch. That's Nothing But Niners, spelled all the way out. No numbers in that one. And we have Patreon. Patreon.com/NB9ERS. I got a lot to say. Not looking for anybody to join. I doubt anybody's going to come in here. I'm not mad at the guys for not wanting to come in here. I completely understand. I'm not expecting them in here. I'll share the link with them, though. But I expect them to tuck tail and not show up also. I mean, fuck. Oh, I cursed already. The 49ers didn't show up, right? Why should people who cover the 49ers show up? Right? Why should people who cover the Niners show up when the team doesn't show up? The 49ers look bad. The offense is the real problem, guys. I get it. Y'all don't like Steve Wilks, and there's got to be a scapegoat, right? Somebody's got to take the blame. But the offensive genius's name is Kyle Shanahan, right? The prodigal son has returned, descendant of the great Mike Shanahan. He comes in here, and he's supposed to be this offensive guru, this offensive genius, right? And I get it, guys. Teams lose. The Chiefs are about to lose to the Broncos. At least that's a division game, right? We've seen weird stuff like that happen. It's a division game. Teams lose, right? back-to-back road games and traveling back and forth to home and away and home and away. That happens. But we're back at home now. We're back at home. And let me just let you guys know something real quick. The defensive line actually looked better today. The defensive line looked better today. I know y'all want to blame Wilkes for everything, and that's cool. But Wilkes ain't throwing the interceptions out there by Brock Purdy. Wilkes is not the guy fumbling the ball out there like Brock Purdy. That's on Kyle's side of the ball. And I'm not coming in here to say get rid of Kyle. I'm not coming in here to say that we need a new offensive coordinator or a new head coach. But bad is bad, and I'm going to call it like I see it. I'm going to call it like I see it. Kyle Shanahan, you have failed the 49er fan base. Brock Purdy, you have failed the 49ers fan base. Shout out to George Kittle. Another game where you fought hard. Shout out to Brandon Ayuk. Other than the balls to the face that you took at the end of the first half, good game by you also. Shout out to Christian McCaffrey. Hey, at least we got a record, right? At least we got a record. 17 games in a row. Woohoo! Let's go. But of those 17 games, we dropped 3 in a row. Oh, we can't do anything but go over 30. Brock Purdy gets you 30, baby. That's what y'all told me all year long, right? That's what y'all told me. Well, 3 weeks in a row says 17 is the max by this offense. Don't matter how close we get either. Don't matter how close we get. And y'all have had all the scapegoats in the world that y'all want for the failures of this offense. I've never seen an offense put up 17 points 2 consecutive weeks and the defensive coordinator still get blamed for it. Never seen it before in my entire life. I have seen bad defenses allow 42 points, but the offense still got 37. I've seen it before. Y'all don't believe me? Look at that Peyton Manning game with the Denver Broncos against the Dallas Cowboys. 40 points by the Dallas team, 35-plus points by that Peyton Manning-led Broncos team. That's when you blame the defense. The offense did all they could. But 17 points 3 weeks in a row by this offensive team? Nah, bro. Nope. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it, bro. I don't want to hear the excuses for the offense. This team, this coaching staff, Kyle Shanahan overcommits to quarterbacks and doesn't know what it's like to develop a fucking quarterback. I'm past my 8-minute mark. Oh, I'm letting loose now. I'm fucking letting loose now. I'm past my 8-minute mark now. Kyle Shanahan doesn't know what it's like to develop a fucking quarterback. I don't want to hear about Deebo Samuel. Fuck that shit. Don't talk to me about Deebo. This was 24 points, but the defense actually showed up. If it weren't for your quarterback turning the ball over 3 times in 5 possessions in the second half, maybe the defense would have looked better. I saw sacks from the defensive line. I saw hurries from the defensive line. I saw turnovers from the defense. But y'all want to keep on blaming the defense. Well, what else are they supposed to do? Somebody let me know. Don't ask me to stop cursing. Read the description of the episode. Explicit language. I put it right in the description. First time in 7 years I've had to put that in the description. The first time in 7 fucking years I've had to put that in the description. I've been here through an 0-9 start. I didn't have to put it in the description. You want to know why? Because there's a difference between a first-time coach building a team and then having a team with Super Bowl aspirations. Having expectations for a team. That's why I had to put it in there. Here's the problem One of the problems, a big problem with this team right now. Kyle Shanahan starts a team. He's got Brian Hoyer as his quarterback. We understood it was a Band-Aid. It was Brian Hoyer and Matt Schaub. I need somebody who knows my offense. Cool, respect. Then we transition to C.J. Beathard. I get it. He's your rookie. Developed him. Got some. Well, right? I respect that. It's cool. Nobody expected shit from C.J. Beathard. We saw the film. He was trash too. Then they make a move around this same time of the year for Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And they go out and get Jimmy Garoppolo, and Garoppolo looks fire through 5 games. Every single fan was hyped up for what Jimmy Garoppolo looked like he could be. But it don't matter what the fans think about quarterbacks. It only matters what the coaching staff thinks about the quarterback. It only matters what the front office thinks about the quarterback. And if you thought the fans maybe overreacted to a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, you're wrong. Because the Niners then proceeded, after just 5 games, to make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Granted, it only lasted for a couple of weeks, but they still did that. They still did that. Why am I talking about Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm going to get to it. I'm going to bring this thing full circle. Just stay with me. Y'all better go and tell somebody to tune in. I'm giving y'all the real right now. Y'all better share this shit on whatever social media platforms you have. I'm going to give y'all the real right now. 5 games was all it took for this team to overcommit to Jimmy Garoppolo. They could have franchise tagged him. The Niners had $68 million in cap space. They could have franchise tagged him. What the fuck is $24 million out of 68? Nothing. But no, we wanted to overcommit to Jimmy Garoppolo. Why? Because he started up here. He started up here. 5-0 in those first 5 starts. Got to pay that man. Got to make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Cool. We then proceeded to spend the next 4 seasons in a row trying to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. I promise that this is a full circle moment. Just stick with me. Don't touch that dial. Just stick with me. Don't worry about missing the pressers. I'm going to have the pressers on here. Y'all aren't going to miss shit. But let me talk to y'all for a second. 5 games, highest paid quarterback, because he started here. And immediately after that, we got to get another quarterback in here. Stay with me. So the 49ers try to acquire this guy and that guy. Matt Stafford, they were talking about. I didn't really buy that, but cool. I'm going to give it to him for this purpose, for the purposes of this right now. Okay? Couldn't get Matt Stafford. Well, let's try to trade for this guy. They tried to get Tom Brady. The problem was Tom Brady was coming off of one of his worst seasons in 18 years in the NFL. They pull back and they say, you know what, guys? I know Tom Brady is out there, but look at what Jimmy did. Maybe Tom is trending down. And maybe Jimmy is a little bit better than Tom Brady. Wrong again. That's failure number 2 when it comes to quarterback evaluation. It's failure number 2. Stay with me. So finally, they get tired of the Jimmy Garoppolo experiment, and they say, you know what? We got a top 15 pick. Let's trade up to number 3. Well, who you want to go get? I don't know. Let's just fucking move. What? What? Tell me one time that's happened in the NFL. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. I already know the answer. It's never happened. And that's why that went down as the worst trade in NFL history. But it wasn't because of the player evaluation. It was because of how quickly they moved on. So they trade up to number 3 overall, and they acquire this kid named Trey Lance. And this is not me bitching and whining about Trey Lance. I don't care that Trey Lance ain't here no more. It's not about that at all. But I want y'all to stay with me and pay attention to what I'm saying. 5 games for Jimmy Garoppolo. Started at the top. Never lost. Looked good game after game after game until the league got film on him. You get ready to move on from him. You try to get rid of him. But that damn tricky injury, Jimmy and his agent, Don Yee, oh boy, they pull the wool over your eyes. Jimmy ain't going nowhere. Pay that man, right? Then Trey gets injured in week 2. Jimmy has to come back in. We make it all the way to the NFC Championship game. That's how Jimmy's story ended, but y'all didn't want him here. They didn't want him here. Facts. Not my opinion. It's what the team told us. But then let me get back to Trey. Trey started down here. Jimmy started up here. They didn't show any patience for Trey Lance to develop in this system. You want to talk to me about injuries? Cool. I respect that. I'll give y'all that. Absolutely true. Trey Lance was injured. That's fine. He was injured. 3 seasons with Trey Lance on this roster. Kind of, right? It's really like 2.5, right? But cool. That's 3 seasons. 4 starts, and you didn't have the patience to watch him grow. Insert Brock Purdy. Kid comes in and finishes the season 6-0 in games that he finished. Gets all the way to the NFC Championship game. Opening drive, takes a shot to the arm, done. Blew his entire arm up. That's cool. I liked what I saw from the kid because he started up here. Remember what I said earlier. He started up here. He heals. Get to this season. We don't got time for Trey Lance development. Insert Brock Purdy. Looked like the right decision to me. Looked like the right decision to me. Move on from Trey Lance. I didn't like that part. Keep him as a backup. You guys saw something in him that made you want to go out there and draft him, right? Keep him as a backup. But cool. You don't want the quarterback controversy. You want a nice, tight, intact locker room. I respect that. You want to move on from him? Cool. 5-0 start. 5-0 start. This kid looks great. He doesn't lose games that he finishes. Beautiful. Fuck Trey Lance. I don't care that he's not here. Fuck Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care that he's not here. But here's where we forget things. The NFL is an ever-living substance. It's constantly evolving. As good as you think you are as a coordinator, teams will find a way to play your scheme. As good as you are as a quarterback, teams will figure out your tendencies. And then what do? Then where do you go? I'm not worried about who the quarterback is going to be. What I am worried about is how Kyle Shanahan is going to respond. Because as soon as his quarterbacks show any sign that they're not perfect, he gets ready to move on. As soon as Kyle Shanahan sees a flaw in the system, he gets ready to move on. Don't take my word for it. Call Jimmy G and ask him. Call Trey Lance and ask him. Call Nick Mullins and ask him. They put Nick Mullins in for the first time ever against the Raiders. The kid set NFL records for a guy coming off the bench. NFL records. Started up here. They committed to him for a couple of games. Yanked his ass out of there once the league caught up to him and he showed his true colors. Nothing I'm saying is opinion. This is all fact. You don't like it? That's on you. Hard pill to swallow. I suggest you go get some lubricant for your throat. Swallow that shit, bro. You don't got to like what I'm saying. I'm not giving you a single opinion of mine. I like Brock Purdy. I like Trey Lance. Thought Jimmy was cool. But the truth is, this team has shown that they don't have the patience for quarterback development. They want you to start here and stay here. And as soon as you're not here, they look to move on. It's not my opinion. This don't have nothing to do with Mike. Has nothing to do with me. Pull the film. Pull the tape. Y'all thought that this team was done. We were perfect. We were ready to go to the Super Bowl. I thought so too. I'm with y'all. I like what I saw from Brock Purdy. I was confident. This kid runs the system. He's got a grasp on it, doesn't panic. But the truth of the matter is the league is catching up to Brock Purdy. I got you, Dan. Don't go nowhere. I got you, Dan. Shoot me a DM on Twitter. I got you, bro. I'm not putting it in the chat. Shoot me a DM on Twitter. This isn't my opinion, guys. I haven't said a single thing that is not a fact. The league starts to pick up on tendencies. That's why defensive coordinators get paid to do what they do. Now they're catching up to Brock. And you know who Brock is starting to look like these last 3 games? Jimmy fucking Garoppolo. The only difference is it was 5 phenomenal games for Jimmy and 12 phenomenal games for Brock. Some things take longer than others. Some really good meals take longer to cook than other really good meals. My favorite home-cooked dish is spaghetti. You can make that shit in 40 minutes. But have you ever had a perfect turkey? You know the time and preparation it goes to make a really good fucking turkey? It ain't 40 minutes. The shit takes days. You got to prep that shit. Get your rubs right. You understand what I'm saying to you? But if you don't have the patience for the meal to come out the right way, then what the fuck are we talking about? I don't care who the answer is at quarterback. What I'm concerned with right now in this moment is Kyle may not show the patience to develop a quarterback. 3 things happen with a quarterback in the NFL. They come in and they are who they are. And they spend that first couple of seasons adapting to the speed of the NFL and learning the game. And after they do that, the league catches up to them. So they tend to take a step back. That's where Brock Purdy is right now. The third phase is how you answer. The third thing that happens is now they fold to the pressure or they overcome. The problem that we've seen here is that the Niners don't have the patience for them to learn to overcome. The Niners are the only team I've ever seen that has been in win now mode for the last 4 seasons in a row and haven't won shit. They haven't won a fucking thing. NFC championships, cool. I like that. Maybe we would have got to the Super Bowl if Brock didn't get hurt. Maybe we would have won. But if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk, right? We can downplay this many, many ways. Y'all can say, yo, Mike, man, chill out, bro. It's only 3 losses. We 5-3 going into the bye. And that's cool. That's cool. If we started the season and said, hey, through 8 games, what record do you want the Niners to have? I think a lot of us would have said, hey, I wish we were 8-0, but reality is we'll probably be 6-2, maybe 5-3. That's cool. I'm not saying the season is over. What I'm saying is this team and coaching staff have never shown the patience for quarterback development. Trey Lance cost this team 4 total picks. He got 4 games. 4. The 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft got 4 games. He didn't show it. He got shipped the fuck out. Don't tell me that this is something that I'm saying that I'm making up. This is the truth. They don't have patience for development. This is win now mode. Well, Brock hasn't won 3 times in a row. Not only hasn't he won 3 times in a row, he has gotten worse and worse and worse in those 3 losses. More turnovers, more bad decisions, more sacks, Hold on, Mike. Now, hold on. Brock made an adjustment this game. He ran the ball well this game. Kudos to you, Brock. Kudos to you. This kid ain't going to get a fair shake here in San Francisco. He's not going to get a fair shake in San Francisco. And I guarantee you none of y'all out there are hearing what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm over Brock Purdy. I'm saying Brock Purdy's turning into Jimmy Garoppolo, though. And that's where you guys are losing my message. Jimmy Garoppolo started here. The league figured him out and knocked him down to here. And Kyle ran out of patience once he got here. And he wanted to move on. Brock Purdy started out here. The league has figured out Brock Purdy, and now he's down here. I don't think Kyle will show the patience for Brock Purdy to develop. That's what I'm saying to you guys. I got no problem with Brock. Let the kid fucking develop. Kyle, chill the fuck out. Show some faith in the guy. Let him become an NFL quarterback. You can't keep rotating people under center. Let's see what Kyle Shanahan has to say. Ignore me. While I play this presser, I'm going to go find my man Dan. All right, Dan. Let's hear what Kyle has to say while I look for Dan. All right. Dan, I hope you sent me that DM on Twitter. I hope you got a Twitter. All
right, guys. With injuries, nothing for now. Everyone returned back to the game, so we'll see if we have more for you guys tomorrow. Go ahead.
On that second interception, were Jennings and Ayuk supposed to be that close together?
Yes. Yeah.
What's the idea of that, having them only 2 or 3 yards apart on the hash?
No, just when he threw it, the timing of it, but it's just a clear route and an in-breaking route called dagger. It's very normal. We ran 3 times in the game.
Was that the first interception, Kyle? Obviously, was a big one down at the 10-yard line. How was that play designed to go, and what happened wrong?
There's just supposed to be a handoff to him, and we missed the handoff. And he tried to scramble out of there, and by that time, you don't want to throw it down the field because people are run blocking. So we just missed the handoff and made a mistake after it.
Wait.
And by that,
Sorry, I'm running it back. I got to hear the injury.
For now,
I think we got out pretty clean, but I want to hear the injuries.
all right, guys. With injuries, nothing for now. Everyone returned back to the game. So
Everybody's good.
we'll see if
Dan,
we
I
have
don't
more for
see
you guys
I don't see the DM on Twitter.
tomorrow. Go ahead.
On that second interception, were Jennings and Ayuk supposed to be that close
Mike
together?
Andrews,
Yes.
83.
Yeah.
Send the DM, Dan. I'll bring you in, bro.
3 yards apart on the hash.
No, just when he threw it, the timing of it, but it's just a clear route and an in-breaking route called dagger. It's very normal. We ran 3 times in the game.
Was that the first interception, Kyle? Obviously, was a big one down at the 10-yard line. How was that play designed to go, and what happened wrong?
There's just supposed to be a handoff to him, and we missed the handoff. And he tried to scramble out of there, and by that time, you don't want to throw it down the field because people are run blocking. So we just missed the handoff and made a mistake after it.
Brock right now, 5 picks the last 3 games, no picks the first 5 games. What's going on?
I made some bad picks there at the end. Thought he was one of the reasons we were in the game today. Some of those throws he made out there were unbelievable. Mistake in the red zone, missing the handoff was the biggest part. And then once you do that, you can't throw it, you're going to get the penalty. But I'm worse that he got the pick. He was aggressive, thought the mic was going to pass on that second pick, and the mic fell off right with Juwan. So just got to see it. No, he wouldn't have been allowed to play.
Right.
Yeah.
He would have been allowed to play, but he felt like he was as sharp as usual.
I mean, he had those turnovers, but I mean, made some really good plays in the game. And when it came down to there at the end, and we're getting a little bit one-dimensional, especially that pick when we were backed up.
There you go, Dan. It's in the chat. Go ahead and click that, man. I'm only bringing in Dan, guys. No one else needs to click that link. No one else needs to click it, just for Dan.
I mean, he had those turnovers, but I mean,
I might let some faithful
really
sound off
plays
actually.
in the game,
but right now, I just
came
want
down
Dan.
to there at the end, and we're getting a little bit one-dimensional. Especially that pick when we were backed up there inside the red zone, or the negative red zone was the worst one.
Sorry, well, you and Steve last week talked about, kind of marrying coverage to the rush. Did you think there were still some problems there in this? What did you see defensively?
I'll see more when I get to watch the whole thing in unison. But I thought, the first drive I thought was kind of, the most how the whole day went a little bit. I thought our coverage was really good on that 3rd and long on the first drive. It looked like we had about 3 different opportunities to sack them. Took a number of hitches. We had a bunch of guys there, which means the coverage and the rush was good. And then he got out of there and somehow moved the chains with his legs. So I thought our tackling was extremely sloppy today, especially in the first half. I thought we tackled better in the second half. But yeah, there was too much space. I'll talk to him more tomorrow. But my message was we got to take that. We didn't play well. That team beat us straight up. We talked about tackling better, talked about having less penalties. I think we only had 5, but in comparison to them, I think it was 1. And we had some ones in some crucial situations that gave first downs. My bottom line to them was, we got to get better in every aspect. And the things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
Brock had some rushing yards from scrambles that he made plays on. As far as your consistent running game, I know ideally you like to do 40 runs if you can. Some of that's game circumstance, but last few games it's been rough. You think what you explain into that? Yeah, we haven't been able to create as much space in the run game. I got away from it a little bit there in the second half, and also you got to think. I think we ended up 3 of 8 on 3rd down, which you got to do better on 3rd down and be able to get that going. I thought we had a couple chances for creases, and the guys didn't make a tackle and just missed those. We had a couple good runs, especially the first one of the 3rd quarter. We had a holding call, one on the first one of the game that got us in the 2nd and 1, and then the next 2 runs don't move the chains for us to go 3 and out on the opening play of a 8.5-yard run. So got to get some better looks, got to run better, block better, and just do better as a team.
Related to the second interception with that Mike just being further into coverage than he would be if one game were firing?
No, we were in empty. So, they know we're throwing when we're in empty. It was just quarters. And Mike's usually there in quarters. He thought he overran it, and he didn't.
Some of the issues over the last 3 weeks, are there certain things, specific areas that are of major concern to you going into this bye?
I think I've kind of said all of them. There's not one thing I'm going to pinpoint. I think we need to run the ball better. We need to score more points. And we need to slow down guys down better, whether it's with pass rush, whether it's doing better on 1st and 2nd down. I want to say they had, I'm not going to say this exactly right, but when you get 20 first downs, and I think 17 of them are on 1st or 2nd, something like that. So we got to get in some more longer 3rd downs. And when we do, we got to get them off the field with a sack if they hold on the ball that long and not let them break that pocket.
That urgency to the trade deadline is not something.
No, none of this changes anything with the trade deadline, how we played today or how we played these last 3 weeks. When you sit and you watch tape, when you're out there on the field, and I know how these last 2 weeks especially I felt, but I do believe we have the answers in our building. I believe we have good players. I believe we have good coaches. It's up to me to get them to do better. I thought we started out pretty good, but there's some things that we haven't been able to hide here these last few weeks, and that's why we got to continue to push them in every aspect, because some people do go on these losing streaks and they don't have those answers, and you're just living in hope. I truly believe we do have the answers. I believe we got them on our team. I believe we got them with our staff, and we got to sit here and wait about 14 days to deal with this feeling that we have, which nobody wants. But I think we need to. I think our guys need to be pissed off a little bit. I think we need to come back with a little better focus, because it hasn't been enough, and we haven't been getting it done.
What's your level of confidence in Steve Wilkes right now?
This isn't on any one coach or any one side of the ball. We haven't scored over 20 points here in 3 weeks too. So
over 20,
defense needs
over
to do
17.
Better. I think our offense needs to do better. I think our team.
The fuck are you spotting them 3 points a week for?
Team. Every single player in there, and every single coach.
Where were those 20 points from? I don't think we scored 20 points against the Vikings.
No, 17 3 weeks in a row.
It's going to be a little bit different each week. I think it looks like we did less today, and we're going to, whether we blitz or whether we don't blitz, and what do we do throughout the game? You got to be sound football. You got to make the plays. Can't give that much space, and you got to get to that quarterback. When you don't get to that quarterback, you got to make tackles, and we didn't do any of that stuff today. So it's not just because of a call here and there or a style. It was a little bit of everything.
When you talk about how you need to have a little bit better focus, do you feel that, especially after the first 5 weeks, there's been a bit of a lack?
No, I don't mean that. I mean, I say focus because winning football games is about who does right longer for 3.5 hours. And I think in our first 5 games, we didn't always do right longer. We just made a bunch of plays and were able to get up on people and win by a couple scores. And I think when that happens, those little mistakes aren't as crucial. And it hasn't been the case these last 3 weeks. We haven't been able to overcome some little mistakes, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a penalty, whether it's a drop, whether it's a missed tackle. And that's kind of what I mean. You can't just focus in a game for 3.5 hours and pick that up. It's how you focus throughout the week, just to make every single play like it's the biggest play in the game. And we've gotten away with a number of stuff on our win streak, and we haven't in these last 3 weeks. And I still believe we've had every chance to win all 3 of these games. And that one got away from us the most. That's what's going to happen when we turn it over like they're at the end. And when we do answer and they go right down and score again, that was our opportunity to get back in the game, and we missed that. So it's not one guy. It's a whole team, but everyone has their part in it.
On some level, how surprised are you by the defense the last couple of weeks, given how well and how dominant at times they were?
I mean, every week I know there's a chance for it to go either way. I'm pretty realistic about the NFL, but I do expect us to get better each weeks, and I definitely expected us to be better versus Minnesota than we were versus Cleveland, and I thought we'd be better today than we were versus Minnesota, and that wasn't the case, and that's why I got to look into it and find out why.
Like you alluded to, you scored 17 points in 3 straight games. How much can that be traced to Debo not being there and Trent being there? How much of an impact does that have on the offense?
I mean, good players allow you to overcome mistakes sometimes, and they can hide stuff, kind of like what I was saying earlier. I don't think we didn't score enough points because we turned it over on 1st and goal on the 7. I believe that we didn't do good in running the ball when we had some chances in 2nd and 1 and 3rd and 1 where I thought we would have stayed on the field. I always feel confident with our players that we're going to move the chains and score, and it's, do we not hurt ourselves? And that's not to take anything away from any other team. They make it difficult on you. But I think we've hurt ourselves a lot in these last few weeks too. And then when you get in those situations and you are a little bit more one-dimensional at the end and you're passing every time, yeah, you're going to notice not having Trent out there and stuff like that. But that's when we're already in that situation. I mean, we shouldn't have been there. And when that's the case, yeah, you can have some great guys bail you out of some stuff, whether it's Debo taking a screen to the house or Trent being able to hold up in protection longer. But by no means are those reasons why we lost these games. It's just harder to overcome. All right, thanks.
Well, there you have it. That's Kyle Shanahan. I'm pretty sure we're going to hear from Brock Purdy up next. And, I expect him to come in and say, oh, I got to be better. I got to be better. That's what we're going to hear from him, right? And he's right in that. But again, I want to just make sure I'm very clear what I'm saying. I want this team to show the patience with Brock Purdy. It is way too early to give up on this kid.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
way too early. And I don't know that Kyle has the patience for it. I've never seen this team want to develop a quarterback. They want a guy to come in and be ready right away. I haven't seen it.
Absolutely. And earlier in the video when you were ranting about us not giving enough time with quarterbacks, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, everybody instantly gave up like on Jimmy Garoppolo after like his injuries and such, and I get that. And then they gave up on Trey Lance, and I'll admit I even gave up on Trey Lance. But you're right. We don't give enough time for our quarterbacks to develop. Like, how many quarterbacks and backup quarterbacks have we had sit on our bench and flood through over the past like 3 seasons? I think if I count them right, I think it's been like 10. And I think it's been 3 on our starting quarterback position because Trey Lance got hurt, Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt, and then Brock Purdy. And now you're right. As teams have figured out what Brock Purdy does and how he does it, Mike, I think that we're thinking about this the wrong way too. It's not that everybody has figured out the quarterback. I think they've just figured out the 49ers system. Like we figured out ways to beat other teams' defenses, but now they're looking at us, seeing our films, and they're figuring out how to beat Kyle Shanahan more than the players. But yes, the players are somewhat to blame as well, and I kind of put Purdy to blame on this game tonight.
Yeah, and by the way, I didn't bring you in here because I was looking for someone to agree with everything that I said. Feel free to say, Mike, I disagree. And I'm not going to yell at you the way I was yelling through my opening dialogue, right? Like that's not what I'm here for. If there's anything,
dude, I wouldn't care if you did, honestly, because I'm pretty pissed as well.
Yeah.
So the thing about it too is that we've had it's not just Purdy, but I think it mainly contributes to the fact I gave Purdy a pass after the Browns game because I said the weather and whatnot. I said the weather is Purdy went into an atmosphere like that. He's never been into it. I said all the stuff that every fan says when they have a new quarterback like that. He goes into Minnesota and basically does the same thing. And I said, well, that's a road game. And then we find out about the concussion thing. I was like, okay, maybe part of that was due to the concussion stuff. And then he does this. And what are you going to blame it on? It was a poor performance game. That's all it is.
Right.
You can't make stuff up like that.
Yeah. A lot of people are going to say, oh, it's the defense. It's the defense. Guys, we gave the ball to them 3 different times.
Yeah.
We turned the ball over 3 times, guys. Like, how much can you possibly blame on the defense? The fact is, the offense is only putting up 17 points.
We gave it up in the red zone too. What did you like? Twice. Yeah, we gave it up in the red zone twice. And we can't keep relying, especially on offense, especially just Christian McCaffrey on a run game alone. We got to throw the ball. And if this is what we're going to do, so be it, for crying out loud. But at least have some consistency. I understand it. Maybe if he throw 1 pick a game, but he's thrown 2 picks in 2 weeks. And actually, he might have thrown 6 in 3 weeks. Did he throw 2 against Cleveland?
No, I think he's up to 5. I think he's up to 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah, but then that's not counting the fumble.
Oh right? Yeah, like, the fumbles too.
Come on, man. And here's the thing. Right? I'm not saying that the defense is perfect. I think the defensive line played better today. I saw faster pressure. I'm not going to say I saw more pressure. I saw faster pressure, real pressure that we can all see with our own eyes. I saw real pressure. I saw multiple sacks. I saw Bosa beating his guy off the edge, forcing Burrow to step up into the waiting arms of one of our defensive tackles, one of our high-paid defensive tackles, right? Yeah. Armstead with the 2 sacks this game, right? Like, and I'm not praising Armstead. He could have done more. The entire defense could have done more. The dropped interceptions, right? The fumble on the opening drive that we didn't recover. There's plenty of things that this defense could have done to be better. But when you continually give the ball back to the opposing team, what more do you guys want to see the defense do? Like, I just don't understand how we ignore these things. That game the Niners won against the Steelers week 3 a couple years ago. What was that,
2019, I think. Yep, I remember that game.
5 turnovers in the first half, and we happened to win that game. That's an anomaly. They were like 1-81. Like, that was the first team in 82 games to ever do something like that. That's not normal. You lose the turnover battle in the NFL, you lose the game. You can't blame the defense for all this shit. You can't. Was the secondary perfect? No. Was I happy with Oliver's performance? Absolutely not. Oliver got a fumble recovery. That doesn't absolve him from all the other mistakes that he made in the game. There's plenty of blame to go around, but the bottom line is, if we're only putting up 17 points a game, only Robert Saleh is winning games like that right now.
Yeah, I know.
Only Robert Saleh is winning games and holding teams to 12, 13 points and winning, 10 points and winning. We're not there. We're not there yet. And they're not turning the ball over at the clip that we're turning the ball over. It's insane that we just continue to blame one person in Steve Wilks for what's happening. It's crazy.
Yeah, Wilks definitely has his problems, but you can't ignore the offense in this too. You have to put it on both sides of the ball. I mean,
right.
You can say the defense is getting tired out, but yes, the defense has problems in the first quarter. Moving on to the second quarter, they did a little bit better. they had a missed field goal. Good for us. Move on to third and fourth quarter. What are you going to do? You give them the ball in the red zone twice, and then you and your offense fails to score. What do you want the defense to do?
Bro,
And
it's so frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. Like there's so much to discuss. There's so much blame to go around. And again, the defense was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But we got to capitalize on offense. Kyle Shanahan is an offensive-minded coach. He is the quarterback, the offensive guru. And 17 points 3 weeks in a row is not gonna cut it. I'm sorry. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care what team it is out there, right? This defense is bad. Let me be very clear with what I'm saying. The defense has not played a good game in a really long time. 2 punts in 2 weeks. No penalties I'm sorry. One penalty, and that came in the fourth quarter, damn near in garbage time, right? One penalty on the opposing team. We've got 5 penalties and all that. Like, this was not a good game. I'm sorry. It wasn't a good game for the 49ers. But what I won't allow us to do is sit here and completely just bypass Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy.
Right. And
those two guys.
And the thing about the quarterbacks not developing it too fast. You're completely right about that. But I doubt. Are you thinking that the Niners won't let Purdy develop if this season doesn't pan out? Like, say we win 2 more games against garbage, and then do you think they'll let Purdy develop at the end of the year?
No, I don't.
No.
And I'm going to tell you why. When I saw, and I actually said this on a show, I shouldn't have said it, but I did, and whatever. I'm here now. When I saw the announcement that the Niners gave Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch extensions before the season started, that told me everything I needed to know. They're looking for another quarterback at some point. That gave them a window. Kyle Shanahan has been here. He got his first. He got a start. New quarterback. He got an extension. New quarterback. Here's another extension. I'm just telling you guys what I see. I am observing and telling you what I see. He got an extension this season. See what you got with Purdy. If he's not the guy, let's address it in the draft. Jed York is showing the patience needed. Jed York is saying, hey, if Purdy's not the guy, if for some reason he's not the guy, he was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason, right? He was a 7th round pick. The entire NFL passed up on this guy for a reason. He started out surprising everybody, caught everybody off guard, had all of us sold, myself included. I was not mad about the team not naming Trey Lance the starter. Did I want to see more for Trey? Absolutely. What is happening over there? Bear, move. He won't let you what? He's not trying to bite you. Bear, what are you doing? Sorry, my dog is like scaring the shit out of my daughter. Who is it?
Okay.
Sorry. Like we can't sit here and just ignore the tendencies of this team that we've seen. We can't, right? Would I have liked to see the team show more patience in developing Trey Lance? Absolutely. But if you think you got the answer, which I thought they had, then cool. What I didn't like was just flat out cutting them. Keep them here. Let them develop. Let them learn the system some more. Let them get some more time in here. I was okay with that. They let him go. Uh-oh. What is that? 4 games? You use that many picks on the guy.
Well, that was another thing about Trey Lance too, was that I heard his preseason. At least I didn't see his preseason in the 22 season. I only saw it for this year, and from what I saw, it was really bad. And I always have this thing that says, you can't really perform in the preseason, then you're not going to perform in the pro level when it's full gut punch in your face, no backing down. And Lance didn't show that, and I was like, third string, that's where he belongs. The trade, did I want him traded? Yes, I did, but but maybe that was the wrong choice. But I'm not sure now because
No, it wasn't the wrong choice. It wasn't. If you see that a guy just isn't grasping your system, they have more insight in the Trey Lance than what we do. We saw the bad. We saw the bad. We saw that he was just holding the ball too long. And that's not how this offense operates, right? It wasn't the wrong decision. That's not what I'm saying at all. I want to be very clear with what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying maybe that was the wrong decision.
What was the wrong decision?
I'm not saying you said that. I'm saying that it may have been the wrong decision.
Trading him?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, because now we have Sam Darnold sitting in our bench, and to be fair to Darnold, he hasn't really had much of an offensive system throughout his entire career. But maybe this is just going to be the point in the Niners season, because we've had pretty successful we had a pretty successful season last year. We had 3 quarterbacks go down, and we still made it to the NFC Championship game.
Right.
So maybe this is where we have to say, this is where we're going to stick it. We have to learn to develop him more. He showed signs, and we're going to move forward with that. I think the case is different with Garoppolo because Garoppolo had 5 years under his belt.
Right.
And last year he got injured, and I think we said we don't want to deal with injuries anymore, and then we just let him go.
Meanwhile, the quarterback position is the only position I've seen that's guaranteed to get injuries on this team.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense. I got worried when Purdy got sacked. No, I actually think he threw the ball away, but he got brought down. It was the roughing the passer penalty, the only penalty.
Yeah, that would have been his third pick.
But he went down and he hit his head on the ground and he immediately clutched both sides of his helmet. And I immediately thought, oh my God, it's another concussion. I thought it. I'm telling you, I thought it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried, concerned. I was. But it is what it is. He finished. There's no airplane. There's no change in altitude now to show signs of concussion. They really got to go out here and look hard in the mirror and see what's what. All right.
Right.
Now, there were rumors going around on 49ers Twitter and other social media pages saying that if Purdy laid another dud, that the team was going to move on to Sam Darnold. Well, here we go. He laid another dud. 3 turnovers.
We need to start being like the New York Giants right now. Daniel Jones finally showed some progress last year. They stuck with him. I think this is his 4th season as the Giants quarterback. I think. Yeah. Stick with it. See what happens. I mean, you're not gonna put a system together and immediately win the Super Bowl right away. You already saw that with the first season with Kyle Shanahan. He had a bunch of crap garbage. He ran the same style of offense, and he still lost 9 games in a row. Come on.
We got to see what's what. I want to hear from Brock Purdy. He's at the podium right now. Let's hear what he has to say.
What happened on the first interception, the one that should have been a handoff?
Yeah, man, I should have handed it off. Simple as that. It was an option play with George coming backside to toss it to him. Once I pulled it to go toss it to him, wasn't there. So I tried making something up and just scrambling to the right. At that point, I got to know that the linemen are downfield, and I just got to try to get what I can get. But to throw the ball in itself would be a penalty, and I got to be better. So saw Elijah in the corner of the end zone, tried making something happen there, but regardless, it would have been a penalty. So that's on me.
Brock, how you only cleared protocol yesterday. How did you feel? Did you feel like you were 100% or as mentally sharp?
Yeah, no, I felt 100%. All week, my symptoms and stuff weren't as bad compared to many other concussions that the team has had, and I was doing fine and was doing great for each phase of the protocol. And then when I got cleared, we all thought I was going to get cleared, and sure enough, I did. So I felt 100% going into this game.
The game, it looked like you took a pretty hard hit. Your head hit the turf pretty hard. Did that feel anything?
No, yeah, it was just the typical whiplash of a play like that. Head goes back, hits the ground, but it's like any other body part. You get hit and shake it off a little bit. So I'm good from that.
When you guys were 5-0, you were making it a point every week to say, I'm not going to let all this attention define me or who I am or how I go about my job. And maybe it's easier to do that when you're winning, but now you've been tested with 3 straight losses. What's your thinking now?
Yeah. Obviously I want to be better, for this team, for this organization, just taking care of the ball in some crucial parts of the games. That's the NFL, man. It comes down to it. You're not going to just blow teams out every week. You take care of the ball and you got to play good team football. And, that's where I'm at with that. But in terms of, you have 3 losses, and as a quarterback, you take a lot. I take that on myself, where I could be better for this team and helping us win. But man, like who I am and what I stand for, that doesn't change. Everyone can say what they want, but I know who I am as a person, and my faith, my relationship with God is the most important, and I'm going to continue to rely on that. It's gotten me to this point in my life, and I'll always be with God and stand firm with God. So I know He'll take care of me regardless. So
I'm rewinding this. I'm sorry. I got to hear the question again.
That doesn't change. Take that on myself, where I could be better for this team and help losses, and that's where I'm at with that. But in terms of, you have 3 losses, and as a quarterback, you take care of the ball and you got to play good team football. And we for this organization.
You've been tested with 3 straight losses. What's your thinking now?
Yeah. Obviously I want your team football, and quarterback, you take a lot. I take that on myself, where I could be better for this team and helping us win. But man, like who I am and what I stand for, that doesn't I can take a lot. I take
Where's
that
the
on myself
question?
in terms of football,
I don't
and
know.
that's where I'm at with that. But in terms of, you have 3 losses, and as a quarterback, you take a lot. I take that on myself.
Okay, here it is.
Where I could be better for this team and helping us win. But man, like who I am and what I stand for, that doesn't change. Everyone can say what they want, but I know who I am as a person, and my faith, my relationship with God is the most important. I know who I stand for, that helping us win. Quarterback, you take a lot. I take that, but teams out every week. It's organization, just taking care of the ball in some crucial parts of the games. That's the NFL, man. It comes down to it. You're not going to just blow teams out every week. You take care of the ball and you got to play good team football. And
I don't know.
that's where I'm at, in the corner of the end zone. Tried making something happen there, but regardless, it would have been a penalty. So that's on me.
Here it is.
How you only cleared protocol yesterday? How did you feel? Did you feel like you were 100% or as
All right.
sharp?
You heard this
I felt
part. Come on.
100%. All week. My symptoms and stuff weren't as bad compared to many other concussions that the team has had, and I was doing fine, and
Come on,
I was doing great for each phase of the protocol. And then when I got cleared, we all thought I was going to get cleared, and sure enough, I did.
Your head hit the turf pretty hard. Did that feel anything?
No, yeah, it was just the typical whiplash of a play like that. Head goes back, hits the ground, but it's like any other body part. You get hit and shake it off a little bit, so I'm good from that.
When you guys were 5-0, you were making it a point every week to say, I'm not going to let all this attention define me or who I am or how I go about my job. And maybe it's easier to do that when you're winning, but now you've been tested with 3 straight losses. What's your thinking now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, I want to be better, for this team, for this organization, just taking care of the ball in some crucial parts of the games.
So the question is, you were getting a lot of hype during the 5-game win streak, and you made it a point to come in here and say the 5 wins don't matter. I still got to go out here and work hard. I'm not going to just let those 5 wins say, who I am or what I am. I still got to continue to get better. Well, now after 3 losses, what do you say now? So that's what the question is.
Okay.
That's the NFL, man. It comes down to it. You're not going to just blow teams out every week. You take care of the ball and you got to play good team football. And, that's where I'm at with that. But in terms of, you have 3 losses, and as a quarterback, you take a lot. I take that on myself, where I could be better for this team and helping us win. But man, like who I am and what I stand for, that doesn't change. Everyone can say what they want, but I know who I am as a person, and my faith, my relationship with God is the most important, and I'm going to continue to rely on that. It's gotten me to this point in my life, and I'll always be with God and stand firm with God. So I know He'll take care of me regardless. So.
How would you diagnose, first 5 weeks you go 30 plus every game, last 3 even 17. How would you diagnose what's kind of gone wrong offensively? What are kind of like the main focuses as you go into the bye week?
Yeah, I mean, it's just finishing drives. We'll get the ball moving and we'll start rolling, get first downs, and then there's just some third downs that we got to convert and be better at. Especially down in the red zone, there's points to be put up for us, and whether that's a field goal or obviously converting a third down and continuing the drive to score. Like, it's as simple as that. We're just handcuffing ourselves with certain plays, and that's really what it is. But we'll move the ball and feel good about it, but we just got to continue to finish those drives. It's as simple as that. So, yeah.
Both of the absences of Debo and Trent factor in this lack of catching.
Honestly, I think the O-line has done a great job. Obviously Trent is probably the best in the league, obviously at his position. So yeah, of course we want Trent out there. Debo as well, for how explosive he is. But there's still plays out there to be made, and we're still moving the ball. This offense is good. The players that we have in it is good. To have those guys back would be great. Obviously, they're really good, and we love playing with them, and they bring just a juice and energy to the offense that we need for sure. But yeah, simple as that.
How do you balance playing free but also pressing in those late game situations where you've had some of those turnovers?
Yeah, there's definitely got to be a fine balance to that. It's like, man, trusting the play, trusting what we're trying to do. The boys trying to get open, the offensive line, the protection, the play call, trusting that. And then, if it's not there, try to make something happen, but don't force it. And clearly, and towards the end of the game, that's what I was doing, was, starting to force things and not see things clearly. With the second pick to Ayuk, it's like, man, don't force things and let the game come to you. And if it's not there, then try to make something happen. But even when you're trying to make something happen, be smart with it as well. So definitely a fine line to it, and I had to learn the hard way today.
How do you view having the bye week now?
Say that again.
How do you view having a bye week now with the timing of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously going into the bye week, it's like, man, you want to win, have some momentum created for the second half of the season. To have a loss like that, it hurts. Now we have to wait 14 days to play our next game for our next shot, our next opportunity, and it hurts. We have a bad taste in our mouth. But at the same time, it's like, man, this is going to be a good time for us to do some reflection, and I think all of us are really hungry for the second half in this stretch that's about to go down. So we'll be ready for it. Thanks, guys.
So no real surprises from the Brock Purdy presser here. I got to be better. We got to be better offensively. We got to make sure we capitalize in the red zone. I mean, this is the regular shit that we expected to hear. There was no real surprises in here. Nothing to really take away from anything that he said. This was, go to the podium because I have to speak. I'm the starting quarterback and get out of there. Like, this was there was nothing there. This was the regular shit. Oh my God.
It's hard. I don't know. It's hard to I don't know. I looked at the Niners schedule and I was trying to think in my head, okay, what's a good defense? What's not a good defense? Those first 5 games, I only saw at least one legitimate defense, and it wasn't Dallas.
Ooh, you talking.
Hold on. I'm gonna give a reason for that in a second, okay? I'm gonna say it was the Rams. Because they were the only ones that gave us any kind of like offensive and defensive push against each other. That was the only thing. Now, when it came down to the Dallas game, here's my reasoning for that. At the time when we entered the game, they said this is probably the number 1 defense. Well, that number 1 defense didn't show up, so I'm not going to give that any credit. But when we went and played against Cleveland, they showed up. They beat us down. They took out our offensive lineman and they took out one of our wide receivers. Went and played against the Vikings, and they stood up to us again. And now we go play against the Bengals, who have an okay defense. What it seems like whenever we play against like these good defenses, we're gonna lose every time. So even if we come off this bye week, when we go into Jacksonville, I'm calling that a loss already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a bit extreme. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am here to overreact with the best of them. That is a bit extreme. Now, let me give you some pushback, and then you can rebut afterwards, right? But and I'm with you, right? We went out there and we beat up on the Steelers. Steelers didn't have an offense. They did have a decent defensive line at least, but went out there and we beat up on the Steelers. Rams are the Rams, right? They're going to be around 500 when it's all said and done. They're not a good team. They're not a bad team. They just show up when they want to. The Giants are a bad team. We beat the Giants. Cardinals are a bad team. We beat the Cardinals. We beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys are probably going to make the postseason. They did last year, but the Cowboys are the Cowboys in the sense of they just show up 1 week and 1 week they don't. The Cowboys can play the Chiefs and blow them out. The Cowboys can play the Chiefs and get blown out, and I wouldn't be surprised either way, right? That team is just a very finicky team. Then we play the Browns. The Browns aren't a good team. Good defense, yes. Good offense, no. We should have put up enough points to beat the Browns. Then we play the Vikings. Vikings are not a good team. I'm sorry, but they're not. This is when the woes really started to rise for the defense. You can't let the Vikings just go out there and look crazy the way that they did. One punt for the Vikings, no sacks again on Kirk Cousins, who was a pocket guy. Kirk Cousins wasn't even doing what Joe Burrow was doing tonight and running and extending drives and all that shit. Like that was Kirk Cousins wasn't doing all that. Kirk Cousins should have been dominated in that game, but we didn't do it. And then you go up against the Bengals, who are an ascending team, right? This team has won 3 in a row, counting this win. They started out rough, but they're trending in the right direction. They're going out there and they're dominating NFC West opponents, right? Like that's what they're doing. But a playoff team from last year. Let's be honest, a playoff team from last year. Okay, so when we sit here and say, because this is what we said when we played the Cowboys, right? In week 5, Cowboys haven't played anybody. Cowboys haven't played a single good team. Well, the good teams the Niners are playing, we're losing to them also. We're losing to them too. Now, the Jaguars are not a good team. We should beat the Jaguars. I get it, we're on the road and all that, but we're coming off of a bye week. The same way the Bengals are coming off a bye when they travel to us. We're coming off a bye when we travel to Jacksonville. We should win that game. We should. I'm not saying we're going to, but we should win that game. I'm not afraid of this Bengals offense. I'm not afraid of this Bengals defense. If Kyle doesn't get his shit together for this game, then you start talking about, okay, this season's over. The Niners are a team that might sneak into the postseason, but you shouldn't expect much because that's where all the good teams are going to be. But I'm not waving that flag just yet. I'm not. We should go out there and dominate the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then I'll start saying, all right, maybe the team is back on track. You are saying that you're not expecting to win already? How come?
Well, I don't. Well, mainly because I don't think we're going to fix our problems. I mean, they still have the tape. I mean, they certainly still have the tape on us, like you said, and I don't think we're going to be able to go on the road and bounce back from this against a team that has a 5-game winning streak going on. I just don't think that we'll be able to do it, mainly because I think that offensively we're showing signs of our weaknesses, and I think teams are taking advantage of that. And I think that I don't know. I have this gut feeling that there's a point in the season, it happens every single year, where we do not look our best. This is that time. And I think the Jaguars are also going to be in that loss category. I'm not saying that we're going to go next month into November after the Jaguars game and win all of them like we did last year. But I'm saying this is the point where we're going to start to lose games against decent teams.
Now, here's the thing. While I'll bow, I'll give you that. This is the time of year where the Niners struggle. Kyle Shanahan's record is what it is in the month of October. But that's a November game. This is when we flip the switch. Our rough patch is usually now, right? I think we can all admit that. We start around 500 in the month of September. We usually have a losing record, 3-1. You know what I'm saying? 2-2 in the month of October. But November and December is when the Niners really start to pick up. I'm not just gonna assume that's if I'm gonna start a show talking about the tendencies of this team, and I was specifically talking about how they are and how patient they are with the quarterbacks, or how impatient they are with the quarterbacks. I also got to talk about the tendencies of this team in the month of October versus the month of November. This is a November and December team. The Niners usually hit their stride and their hot streak after the month of October. So I'm not willing to just bow to the Jaguars and say, oh, we're done. Tendencies are tendencies, and this is when we flip the switch. This is the time of year where we come out and say, all right, here we go. It's time to turn up. So I'm not just going to give the Jaguars that win. They got to go out there and earn it. The Niners are coming in to town, and they got to deal with us at that point. See, and I wanted to come in here and I don't want this to be a positive episode about the Niners. I don't want that. I want to be mad. I want to be angry, and I want to get this shit off my chest. But I'm still not calling that Jaguars game a loss just yet. I'm not doing that. I think that the defensive line showed some changes. I think that we realized that the front four can get just as much pressure without blitzing as they can with blitzing. So what does that tell Steve Wilks? All right, well, we don't need the blitz. We can leave more people in the secondary and make it harder for these quarterbacks to pass against us, right? I think there are some positives to take away from this game, albeit a loss, albeit not the kind of loss that we want to see, but I still think that there are some positives to take away. And I'm hoping that they dissect this film and compare it to the rest of the season when we were blitzing way more than what we should have been, and they say, hey, this front four can actually get some shit done. We don't need to blitz. And then we can leave more people back in coverage, whether it be 7 people or 6 people in coverage. You know, if we're going to bring one extra guy, cool, bring one extra guy. But I want them to be able to realize that we're going to be okay with just the pressure from the front four. We don't need to blitz. And I think that's where the biggest adjustment comes from, but that's not where my concern is. The offense for the 49ers usually takes a turn midway through November. That game is November 12th. That is literally midway through November. That's when the offense starts to take a turn for the 49ers. And then the defense gets more rested because we're having longer sustained drives, more points put up on the board, and the defense can start to pin their ears back. Now we can blitz because teams are down 2 scores versus it being a 1-score game where we're trailing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I don't know. I think this is just where it's going to be headed, and I think we're just going to have to deal with that a day at a time. And what is it going to take for us to get back on that track? Maybe you're right. Maybe it is the November thing. Maybe just October is whatever. But hey, if you want to be even more mad, I just got a score update. Seattle beat Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That pisses me off.
You know what that does to the standings, right?
But that puts them at first, right? It should.
Yeah. Because common opponent, and there you go.
Yep. So it's gonna be hard because I think that we know we have our problems, but is there a way that we can fix them during this bye week? Maybe not. Is Purdy gonna be able to fix his mistakes in 2 weeks? Maybe not. But and that's the other thing about Purdy I wanted to bring up is I don't think we should have started Purdy today. I was nervous. I didn't like the fact that we started Purdy. I wanted us to start Sam Darnold because I didn't want us to re-aggravate an injury that he had already had going with that concussion thing. After he took that roughing the passer sack, and I saw his head go back, and I thought, ooh, that's trouble. I think that we're going to kill ourselves if we keep putting in guys like this after they keep taking hits like this. I think there's something to be said there that we need to say we're not going to take this risk when we're potentially a playoff team that could kill our entire season. If that makes sense.
It does. I get it. And I had my own little conspiracy theory. I thought the Niners wanted to put Darnold on display for the rest of the league right before the trade deadline and try to see if they could get something for him. You know what I mean? Maybe use Darnold in exchange for a nickel corner, or something like that. Maybe another pass rusher. I didn't think that we needed a pass rusher. I think we needed to trust the front four. I think we needed to trust our starting defensive linemen. But
front four's fine.
Right. But, if they were looking to trade somebody, I thought they were going to maybe try to build some equity for Sam Darnold. But, if I go back to how I thought about this team after they traded Trey Lance away, I think Kyle did something that was, I think it was pretty smart at the time that it happened. Hear me out. I thought that Brock Purdy was an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo. I thought that he trusted what he saw right away. He would throw the ball right away. He wasn't going to hold on to the ball. Right. And again, this is something that happens with all of the 49ers quarterbacks when they first get in. But Brock Purdy had showed it over much more time than, just 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
I thought that Jimmy Garoppolo, and I still think that. Now, I did start the show by saying that Brock Purdy is turning into Jimmy Garoppolo, but we got to be patient and allow him to enter that third phase. I came into the league. I caught them by surprise. The league adjusted to me. Now let me adjust to the league. That's where we are. We got to let this kid adjust. I still am going to sit here and say that Brock Purdy is an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo. Here's where my Sam Darnold and Trey Lance comparison comes in. Both athletic guys. Both guys have big arms. And both guys seem to be one-read quarterbacks. And if the one read isn't there, they're looking to extend plays with their legs or maybe try to do some heroic shit in the backfield. I'm not going to say that Sam Darnold is an upgrade over Trey Lance because I haven't seen him do it, but the styles are very similar. And I thought that maybe the team felt like we made upgrades at both of the positions and it's going to benefit us when it's all said and done. That part remains to be seen. So I'm happy. Hear me out. I did a Patreon show talking about how maybe that was my conspiracy theory. No, well, that was my conspiracy theory. But, embellish on this concussion, put Sam Darnold in, let him show off, let him go crazy, and then generate some trade compensation, trade value for Sam Darnold for a team like the Washington Commanders, who might be out on Howell, and we can get one of those pass rushers that they might be willing to get rid of, right? Like that was my conspiracy theory there. But I'm glad it didn't play out that way.
I'm not to that point. I'm not sure that would be very smart. I'm not saying that it's a bad idea, but I'm just not saying it's not a very smart idea. We already have Purdy, Darnold, and we have one other quarterback. I forget his name. In as our emergency quarterback,
Brandon Allen.
Do you think that if that were the case, do you think that the Niners would have signed another one off of free agency, put the emergency QB as our second string?
Yeah, absolutely. If the Niners were to if my conspiracy theory was accurate and they trade Sam Darnold, Brandon Allen immediately becomes the backup. And then you look to sign someone that's a free agent or whatever. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that it was going to happen. It was just a crazy ass conspiracy theory that I was thinking about. You know what I mean? So, and I'm okay with that. Like my brain works overtime when it comes to these Niners and trying to evaluate and think ahead, think the way a GM would think. You know what I mean? We're not counting on or depending on or hoping that Brock Purdy gets hurt. He should be the guy for this whole season. Again, my fire and my vigor for the start of this show wasn't about Brock Purdy and his performance. It was that I was afraid that this team was going to give up on him too soon. And that's what everybody who was watching the beginning of the show was missing. And my entire soliloquy at the beginning of this show was about why I think that that's going to happen. It wasn't that I want it to happen. It's why I thought that was going to happen. This team just gives up on guys too fucking soon at the quarterback position. They want to see someone start high and remain high. And as soon as there's a slope, they give up on him. They did it with Jimmy. Trey Lance didn't start up here. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, I don't know this to be true. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm almost willing to bet that Nick Mullins got more starts as a San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback than fucking Trey Lance.
I think you're right. I think you're right about that.
That's fucking crazy.
I think Lance only started in like 4 games.
No, I know the number.
Mullins
I know
started
the number
in
for Lance.
6. At the very least, I knew that because I remember watching him. He's got 6, I think. Because I remember watching a couple of games with him in there. I think that he started 6. I have to look it up.
No, I'll pull it up right now. I guarantee you, Trey Lance only started 4 games as a 49er. He played.
I'm talking about Mullins.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I was gonna say, yeah. Because Trey Lance, I have his thing pulled up here. He started 2 games in 2021 and 2 games in 2022. I'll pull up Nick Mullins now really quick. But my point was that I thought it was nuts that Nick Mullins got more starts than Trey Lance. I just didn't understand that. So for San Francisco, he started 8 games in 2018. That was in 2018. Okay. And then for the 49ers in 2020, he started 8 more games. That's 16 starts we gave to Nick fucking Mullins while Trey Lance only got 4. And that's what my point was. Trey Lance didn't start way up here. His first start was a rough one and a loss to the Arizona Cardinals, right? But Nick Mullins started way up here, 400 plus yards, setting a record for the first start for a guy coming off the bench and blah, 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 right? Like it was this hype and Kyle was willing to give him more time. But if you don't start high, Kyle gets rid of you as soon as he starts to see a decline. I don't want Kyle to look at what Brock Purdy has done in these last 3 games, think it's a decline, and say, oh, we got to move on from this guy. That's what I'm afraid of happening. That is Kyle Shanahan's track record. Argue with whoever you guys want about it. I'm telling y'all what is. As soon as he sees a decline, he's ready to move on. He saw a decline in Jimmy Garoppolo. He was ready to move on. I don't want that to be the case for Brock Purdy. That's the point of my entire spiel at the beginning of this show.
Yeah, quarterbacks always need to be the main function of the team. I don't know why it is. It shouldn't be because we have talent. We had Garoppolo, and then we had Lance, if you want to count that, because that was also potential talent. And if we move on from Purdy, I don't know what we're going to do because we can't just keep going back and say, we'll draft a new one or we'll pick one up out of free agency. We can't say that every year.
Yeah, I agree. Let's wait. Before we get to this next Fred Warner presser here, let's get to some of these super chats. I forgot. I want to do that. You guys keep the super chats coming. We're going to get to them before the end of the show, I promise. Zero Samus says here, Brock Purdy's interceptions and turnovers cost us any chance to win. I agree. There's no excuse. Our team is not 5. There's no excuse. Our team is not the 5-0 start we had. I feel you, Mike. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted you guys to understand what I was saying here. And Daryl says here, you're spot on, brother. Again, I wasn't trying to, sway anybody with anything. Again, this was not an anti-Brock Purdy. What I said was he's turning into Jimmy Garoppolo, and I don't want him to be the fall guy. When I said he's turning into Jimmy Garoppolo, Garoppolo quickly became the fall guy. I don't want to see that happen for Brock Purdy. Give this kid more time. You say you believed in him. You moved on from the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Then fucking commit to this kid. That's what I want to see. All right. Boxing Fan times 4 says here, Brock Purdy ass juice. Kyle Shanahan has tunnel vision when it comes to QBs. Should have just kept Kaepernick from the beginning. The San Francisco 17ers. Wow.
I disagree with that one.
Wow.
It has nothing to do with the politics. He was in actually I have 2 opinions on that.
Go ahead.
Because in one sense we had Jim Harbaugh as our head coach, I think. When we had started Kaepernick, he was decent and then he just went on a major decline. In that sense, yes, it's true. Maybe we should have kept him. But then there was another sense where it was like we didn't know where this team was going in the first place. I think Crabtree had left, Gore had left. Our whole entire defense left. It was just a restructure from the beginning, and I think that Kaepernick got included in that as well. So
yeah. So 2011 was the Alex Smith year. He went crazy. 2012, the Niners made the change to Colin Kaepernick. 13, 14, and then in 15, you insert Tom Sula, Chip Kelly, and Kaepernick was just on a constant decline from then on out. They tried to make him a pocket passer. He couldn't do it. So I don't agree with a lot of what this is. I was not happy with Brock Purdy's game, so I'm not mad at the Brock Purdy ass juice comment at the beginning of it. Kyle Shanahan has tunnel vision when it comes to quarterbacks. I agree, but I don't agree that he should have just kept Colin Kaepernick. I think they know what they want in a passer, and I don't think that's who Colin Kaepernick was. Like you said, that has nothing to do with politics or anything like that. So, that's what that is. I'm in report says here $64,000 question. Is Kyle losing the locker room? This is interesting. This is very interesting. I don't know. I'll be honest with you, man. Mr. Report here, You've given me something to think about, and I'm going to think long and hard about this during the bye week. I am going to sincerely assess this, and I will do a breakdown of this on the Patreon. This is a very good topic that is worthy of discussion. But you got to give me some time to think about it. To answer right now in the moment, I can't. I believe that Kyle says the right things at the podium, right? He went out and he flat out said, I believe the answers are already in the building. He said that tonight at the podium. He said that nothing that happened tonight on either side of the ball is going to affect what we're looking to do before the trade deadline. I believe him when he says that. I think that's sincere. I think that this team is a Super Bowl caliber team with the players already on this roster right now. I do believe that. But that tells me it's more about scheme, which is more related to coaches and not the players. So if what Kyle Shanahan said is true, that can't be the case. It can't be about him losing the locker room. It sounds like he has faith in the locker room. I think that the locker room, if that's the case, has faith in him. So they will trust Kyle to make the right decisions when it comes to the coaching staff and play calling. So that remains to be seen. If I had to answer that right now, that's my answer. Dan, what do you say?
I'm gonna say no for now, just because of those comments. Like you said, those comments that he made at the podium. If something else like becomes relevant to the fact that maybe he's losing the locker room, like if something comes out, which I don't think it will, then maybe I'll change my mind. But as of right now, I don't think he's lost the locker room. I think we're just on a speed bump, and this is just what it is. I don't think there's necessarily anything like wrong going on. I think the practices, whatever. I think he's got the room under control. I think that it's going good over there. We're just not executing on the field when we need to.
Okay, where's your microphone?
Oh, it's actually on my phone. Why is that? Am I cutting in and out?
I'm hearing like a rubbing noise. I don't know if you're like shaking your leg.
Oh, let me move real quick. It's
just like I don't know if you were shaking your leg or something, but there's like a.
Oh no! I'm actually in the basement. People are walking upstairs.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. It's like a wobbly sounding noise.
Yeah, the floor's kind of squeaky. I apologize. Kind of keep that down.
Okay. All right. Brandon Hadley has a comment here. He says, "Fire Wilkes immediately and let's go Sam." He wants a new defensive coordinator and a new starting quarterback. What say you? What do you? You said that you thought Sam should have started today. So I want to get your real thoughts.
Sam should have started today. I'm gonna keep sticking to that. And firing Steve Wilkes, initially I said yes, but today I saw improvements by the defensive line. They actually rushed Burrow, and the fact that the defense was on the field so friggin' much, I don't think we need to fire Wilkes. I think the game plan needs to change, because what I see a lot of times is we play a lot of zone defense. And I think that when we had D'Amico Ryan and Rob Saleh, they played a lot of man-to-man coverage. I wish we could go back to that, because I felt like it was a better defense than the zone is. So, I mean, you can give your opinion on that, but I think that we need to switch back to the man-to-man defense instead of the zone, because I think that was a better defense. And maybe it's because the defense is kind of shifting into like a new system. Maybe that's why we've been struggling. We struggled against Cleveland. We struggled against Minnesota. We struggled against, they struggled against today the Bengals. Maybe that's why. So we'll have to see. We can't like really overreact to this. You can spout whatever at the TV, but at the end of the day, you can't just change your entire offensive system in 3 weeks because of something that didn't go your way.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think this team is better when they put more people in the secondary and let the front four just get home. I really, really do think they're better. But we'll see. Like I said, I saw some improvements from the defense in this game. And I understand we're watching this live right now, immediately after the game. The All-22 film isn't out quite yet. Don't take my word for it. Throughout the next 2 weeks, you guys are going to see a lot of people saying that the defense actually improved. Don't take my word for it right now. feel how you guys feel. I respect it. But you guys are going to see grades from PFF. You guys are going to see people doing the all 22 breakdowns, and they're going to say Wilks made adjustments. Wilks made changes. He trusted the front four more in this game. And I'm hoping that after the team reviews the film, they say, okay, this is the way we need to proceed forward. I've been saying that since before this game started. I said it during the game at the halftime show. I said it afterwards. I'm sticking to that. This defensive line looked so much better going out there and playing freely. I like seeing Nick Bosa move from the left side to the right side and finding the matchup that he liked. I like seeing a couple of stunts in the middle of the field and all that stuff. That's the type of team that this 49ers was built to be. And I think we're going to continue to do that. And there were some plays that were just phenomenal catches by really good wide receivers, but the Niners players were right there, right?
Yeah, they were.
They're on the defensive side of the ball for a reason. These corners, if they could catch everything that came their way, they wouldn't be corners. They'd be wide receivers because they make a lot more money faster than the corners do. You know what I'm saying? But Oliver is a liability. Let me be very clear what I'm saying. Ward had one or two bad penalties. One of them was a little, and they shouldn't have called that on Ward, but one of them was deserved. Ward is who he is. He's not a true CB1. I don't even think Lenore is a true CB1, but Lenore I like. Ward I like. Those guys are both serviceable. I even like what I saw from Gibson. Gibson looked better today. Now, all that being said, I'm talking about coverage. Missed tackles is driving me fucking crazy. Missed tackles is an insane thing happening for this 49ers team. I don't know how they get better at that during the bye week. I don't know if they can get better at it throughout the rest of the season, but that will cost us down the road. It might cost us some drives. It might cost us some points. I'm not willing to say it's going to cost us games just yet. I think we can improve on that aspect of the game. But overall, I know it was more points. I know we allowed 19 points in the loss. I know we allowed 22 points in a loss, and I know we allowed 31 in a loss, but that was not a real 31 points allowed by this defense, guys. You have to account for when the offense turned the ball over. You got to account for where they were. You got to account for 3 extra possessions for the fucking opposing team and what that equates to as far as team points goes. You got to account for all of that. Granted, none of them were pick sixes. None of them were on the special teams. And so technically the defense was on the field, but I promise you guys, this defense looks so much better this week than they did in weeks past. I promise you guys that. But don't take my word for it. You guys have your John Chapmans. You guys have your what's my man's name? VSF 49. Brad Grahams. You guys have your Grant Cones and all that you guys trust more than me. I'm okay with that. But you heard it here first. You guys are going to get your information from your trusted people, the guys who do the film breakdowns and all that shit. I'm going to tell you what I saw. They're going to confirm it later on. And you guys will come back and say, Mike, you were right. Or you won't say I was right. You'll continue to come in here and hate on me, but I'm going to know the truth. It's okay. I live with that. I've been doing this for 7 years. I'm okay with all of that, right? The defense was better today. I promise you guys the defense was better today. You can say, oh, Mike, they still allowed 400 yards. Cool. They did. But it wasn't a real 400 yards, right? You got to take into account some things that didn't happen normally. They weren't expecting Joe Burrow on a bad leg to go out there and scramble around the way that he did. We got to be real. That extended 4 drives in this game. There was a big third down. The Niners left the entire center of the field empty because they spread all their wide receivers out really, really wide. They snapped the ball, and Joe Burrow and the center fucking took off. He didn't even hesitate. That was a designed run by them. Kudos to them. And that was on a play where the Niners ran out on third down, and the Niners called the timeout. The Niners called that timeout and allowed them to see what we were going to do. And they said, hey, this is the new play. Go back out here. Do it again. The Niners are leaving the whole middle of the field open. Joe, we think you can get it. Easy. And he did. And that extended, that allowed that team to drive for another 32 yards. All that shit accounts into the total of that 400 yards of offense that they gave up. Not on the defense. That's a little different. So my point is the defense did look better, believe it or not. You'll hear it later on. We can't just give up. I'm not willing to say fire Wilks now. If Wilks comes out and we're back to the heavy blitzing, because this is the truth. The Niners couldn't blitz in this game because they used so many 3 wide receiver sets for them. They're one of, I think, 6 teams in the NFL that their base offense is 3 wide receivers. They're one of like 6 teams in the NFL where that's their base. So they force teams to automatically come out and nickel. You know what I'm saying? They force teams to do that straight out the gate. They're one of like 6 teams that do that. Okay. So the blitzing and all that shit, you're leaving your secondary vulnerable. That already goes to the wayside. The Jaguars are not that team. If we come out against the Jaguars and we're back to blitzing heavy, then I'm going to get on board with you guys and say fire Wilkes. But I am going to right now stand fast, and Wilkes is going to have his eyes open and say, you know what? I can trust the front four. The front four got just as much pressure as we get when we blitz. I'm going to stand tall in that until I'm proven wrong. All right. We got a few more super chats to get to, and then we'll get back to Fred Warner. Actually, just this one here. Will Purdy's job be on the line versus the Jaguars? Now, Randolph, this is a really good question. I wonder if he's saying when we play the Jaguars, or if he looks bad against the Jaguars, then will it be on the line? Because those are two very different questions. So, Dan, I want you to answer both. Do you think that coming out of the bye week, will they already make a quarterback change? That's my first question. And if not, if he has another bad 17-point performance, 2 or 3 turnovers, are they making the switch?
No, I still don't think we're making the switch. And I want to be clear about something earlier. So when I said that I want Darnold to start today, I only meant that because of the concussion injury. I don't think if Purdy has a bad game against the Jaguars that Sam Darnold should come in, or whoever else is sitting in our quarterback spot. Definitely not. And the same thing even going into the Jaguars game. I mean, if it comes out and it says he went into concussion protocol for the second week in a row after he took that hit, then fine, start Darnold. But at this present time and now, no, absolutely not. Good question, though. Good question.
Yeah. I think Purdy's job is safe to start the next game. If Purdy has a first half like his second half was in this game, I started the show like it. The team gives up on quarterbacks when they start to see a decline. I'm sorry, guys. I think Kyle might just tap out. I think Kyle might tap out. Now, there's 2 ways to look at him tapping out at halftime in the game. We pulled you so you can step back. You're a little too close to the situation. And we've seen Kyle do this before. We've seen him say, hey, you're too close. You got to get out so you can see what's going on. He's done it with wide receivers. He's done it with running backs. You know what I'm saying? I can't say for sure he's done it with quarterbacks, though, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think that's
not that any I've seen. Maybe he did it with. Did he have I don't think he had CJ Beathard on his team. Did he have CJ Beathard on his team?
Who?
He may have done it with CJ Beathard to start Mullins in the 2017 season.
Yes, there was a back and forth with Beathard and Mullins at one point. There was a slight one. There was one.
Yes.
There was one. But my point is, we've seen Kyle pull guys and say, hey, you're a little too close. Let's back away. Just see what happens and then get back out there and go do your thing. If we have a first half where Brock Purdy is – watch this, right? One of Brock Purdy's best plays in the game was a terrible decision. Okay? It was late in the game, late third quarter, midway through the fourth. I don't remember exactly when it was. I don't have the minute marker. But he snapped the ball. He scrambles to the right, far right, and throws all the way across his body and hits George Kittle to convert for the first down, right? Terrible decision. Beautiful throw. Excellent execution. Kept the ball rolling, right?
Yeah.
If Brock Purdy comes out in the first half of the Jaguars game, has 2 turnovers, and plays like that, I think Kyle could pull him for the second half. I do think Kyle could pull him. Now, that play worked out for us. Here's the flip side. There was another play in this game where Brock Purdy threw an interception. He scrambles to his right. He throws a 3-yard pass to Elijah Mitchell. Great scramble. Great decision to throw to Mitchell. Bad execution. Didn't put enough air over it. Ended up being an interception. Right? Everything was right except the execution. The exact opposite of the throw to Kittle across the body. Coaches pull their hair out when they see their quarterback scrambling one way and throwing all the way across their body across the field. That's a no-no in the NFL. Moving one way and throwing the ball to somebody right ahead of you, the same side of the field, is a plus. But he just didn't put enough air in that ball. He didn't lob it enough. It was too much of a straight line. Good read.
It still worked. It still worked, but it was a bad throw.
Right. It was a bad throw. That's not what's going to get Purdy in trouble. If he's making the right decisions, but the execution isn't right, Purdy is safe. But if you're doing that across the body shit, even if it's the right decision, and you got 2 other random turnovers, you got the sack fumbles again, you got the interception, there is a possibility that they pull him.
Okay.
Yes, Purdy.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. On the first interception that he had in the game, where he was on the goal line, he rolled out and he threw it. He had Mitchell, if he got the ball over the defender's head and he was open sitting in the goal line, if he makes that, do you think that if he makes that pass, do you think that that could be considered the same thing as the touchdown pass he threw across his body?
Wait, well, that wasn't a touchdown to Kittle, but it kept the chain moving, and then we got the touchdown to McCaffrey. But can you paint the picture again for me? Say it again. I'm sorry.
Maybe I had the wrong play, but there was a play where he threw across his body. It's the same thing, right? There was a play earlier in the game where he threw an interception. It got tipped up by the defensive lineman, and he took it for like 20 yards or something.
Yeah.
Purdy rolled out, and he had Mitchell. If he throws his ball over the guy's head, he doesn't block it. This looks like a touchdown. Do you think that's the same scenario, that if he makes this play, it's the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what, so I say this a lot on my shows, and people hate me when I say it, right? We can't always be results based, right? We have to look at the process. And this is a life lesson, not just a football thing, a life lesson. I got 4 kids, guys, right? And I'm young. I consider myself young. I'm still learning every day. And one thing that I've learned is to fall in love with the process, not the results. Okay. The process of that play was right. The result of that play was wrong. The process of the play to Kittle all the way across the body was wrong. The results was right. But you have to fall in love with the process. That's where you really develop passion. That's where you really become good. If you can make the right decision down in and down out. Football is a game where all 11 people, honestly, all 11 have to be doing everything the right way in order for a play to be successful. It's not an opinion. That is a football fact. That's why football is so great to watch. One guy blows their assignment, it messes up the entire play. So you have to fall in love with the process. If Brock Purdy is showing signs of executing the process the right way, Kyle won't bench him. Results be damned. We can have a game where there's 4 turnovers. If Brock Purdy throws 1 interception because a wide receiver stopped his route instead of finishing it, and someone else picks that ball off, that's not on Brock. Christian McCaffrey might have 2 goal line fumbles. That's not on Brock, right? We've had turnovers the last couple of games. We had a turnover in the Cowboys game where Christian McCaffrey was driving. We're inside the goal line. He fumbled the ball. Right. Not on Brock Purdy. Not on Christian McCaffrey either, right? Like, you just fucking dropped the ball. You just dropped the ball. The process, the execution was right, but we just turned the ball over. No one's going to get knocked for that. The process was right. Everything there was right. That's what we want to see. You can't be result-based all the time. What he did on that play that you're talking about was absolutely right. You just got to get, you got to do a little bit more on the execution of it. The process was right. The thought process was right. And that's more important to Kyle than anything else. I promise you guys, it's more important to him.
All right.
All right. Let's hear from Fred Warner. We got to start wrapping this thing up here. Let's hear from Fred Warner and his thoughts on this game here.
Confidence in Brock, even though he started last couple games.
You want me to say no? I mean, come on now. Like, the thing is the quarterback is always going to receive the blame, like the brunt of the criticism. But Brock is like the least of my worries.
Oh,
Brock is made of the right stuff.
Wait.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett, Brock is the seed.
Whoa.
Hold up.
Hold the friggin' phone.
Be quiet. Chill out. Hold on.
Did I hear that right?
You want me to say no?
Holy shit. First question straight out the gate. Do you still have confidence in Brock? Yo.
Who is this? Fred? Is this Fred Warner? I think it's Fred Warner, right?
Oh my God. Hell yeah, this is Fred Warner. Are you kidding me?
Who says that Kyle Shanahan doesn't have control of the locker room now? I think this is the case in point right here.
That's how you start a fucking presser. Hold up. I got to hear this again.
Start that again.
Body language. The body language. The question itself. This is a fucking presser. Straight out the gate. Hold on. Here we go. Come on. I'm muting up.
You still have confidence in Brock? Even though he started the last couple games.
You want me to say no? I mean, come on now. Like, the thing is the quarterback is always going to receive the blame, like the brunt of the criticism. But Brock is like the least of my worries. Brock is made of the right stuff. Yeah, can he protect the ball better? Sure, but he's the reason why we have a chance to win games in every single game that we're in. Like, right now, I can't, like, the common denominator right now is that I haven't been able to say in the last 3 losses that, man, the defense had our best outing. We just happened to lose. We're not playing good football on our side. And that's the reason why we haven't won the last 3 games. And that's got to get figured out. And it will get figured out. The bye will be great for us. You know, people want to say, oh, man, it sucks. Like, we can't just get the taste out of our mouth after a quick turnaround. Like, we had that opportunity this week, and we didn't get it right. So I'm going to look at it as, you know, a good reset to be able to go into the bye and figure this thing out and get back to playing 49er defense, because right now we're not.
Yo, what?
Wow.
Fred Warner's the man. Let me tell y'all something. 2 years ago, I said I was done buying player jerseys. If I didn't already own a Fred Warner jersey, I'd go and buy one right now. I would go, RX8. Come on, bro. If I didn't already have a Fred Warner jersey, I would go out and buy one right fucking now. Holy
RX824.
shit.
That is 100% correct. And he also comments later and says, Kyle don't sound like that.
Yo,
yeah,
exactly.
That's just not Kyle's style, though.
Yo, Fred Warner. Hold up. I gotta play the round of applause. My claps ain't getting it done. Hold up. Fred Warner.
Dude, that's base. That's base, though.
Come on, bro.
I can't, like, to come out after that and say things like that, say he's the leader and he's the reason why we have chances. That's awesome, especially after he had an atrocious day. That's awesome.
Listen, yo, let me break this down for y'all. Fred Warner dropped so many truths in that one answer. Y'all gonna miss half of them.
Dude, I think I already missed half of them already.
No, it's okay. That's why I do this. I'm gonna break them all down for you one by one. Every truth that Fred Warner shared in this, I'm about to break them down for you one by one. Here we go. Y'all strap in.
You still have confidence in Brock?
You still have confidence in Brock Purdy?
You want me to say no?
That wasn't a no, by the way. That wasn't a yes.
That was a sarcastic. Are you really asking me this question?
No. We're not gonna put sarcasm, because if we label it as sarcasm, that means that the answer is no. I'm not gonna label it sarcasm.
Okay, all right.
I'm not gonna label it sarcasm, right? But this was what you want me to say. No, like, what the fuck are you asking me to do right here in front of all of y'all right now? You want me to say that we as a defense are gonna start blaming somebody else? Absolutely not. That wasn't sarcasm, but it wasn't an admission of guilt either. It wasn't saying, yeah, I don't have confidence in him. It was neither. Fred is a fucking G. He's a G. Let me hold on. Oh, I'm gonna have fun with this. Oh my God, I'm gonna have fun with this. Hold on. Y'all in trouble. First, the smirk. Do you still have confidence in Brock? Insert the smirk. I want y'all to see when the smirk comes. Straight face, all business. Right there. You still have confidence in Brock? He didn't even hear the rest of the question. Here comes the smirk. You want to talk about body language? You want to talk about a guy who's sure of himself, who's confident in himself? This is a guy who is already willing to take responsibility. This is a leader. You guys are seeing a real man in front of y'all on the field, a real field general right now. The smirk happened and the question ain't even done. Do you still have confidence in Brock? The question's still happening. Listen.
He started last couple games.
Come on, man. Now there's an eye roll. You start with a smirk, it turns into an eye roll. Look at this shit. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. What the fuck do you expect me to say? I'm a defensive player. You want me to start talking about the offense? You're insulting me and my intelligence by asking me a question like this. You should have asked Kyle that question. When Christian McCaffrey comes to the podium, you ask him those questions. You don't ask me these questions. Ask Brock those questions. I'm on the whole opposite side of the ball. Again, guys, don't be results-based. Fall in love with the process. Fred Warner has zero control of the process on that side of the ball. What fucking difference does it make? That's his answer. It's not sarcasm. It's not an admission of guilt. Oh, you got me. You figured this out. It's none of that. I don't have nothing to do with that shit over there. And he goes on and says that in his answer. Listen.
You want me to say no? I mean, come on now. Like, the thing is
another eye roll. Another eye roll.
Second one.
Come on now. Shoulders up, arms out. Like, yo, like, let me tell y'all something. Right? If you've ever been in front of somebody and they respond with you, come on now. That come on now was aggressive. Tread lightly. You're pissing me off. You're fucking with the wrong person right now. Now ain't the time for whatever bullshit that you want. Come on now. With an eye roll, shoulders up, arms out. Bro, you on the hot seat. Watch how you talk to me. Watch how you talk to me. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me. We didn't do our job. I can tell you Fred Warner's demeanor for the rest of this pressure without even seeing any of it. 31 points. That's Fred's focus right now. No pick sixes. That means they were on the field when it happened. No special team scores. That means they were on the field when it happens. This is Fred's mindset. We got to be better. The 49ers used to have this mindset that every time we're on the field is an opportunity for us to be great. I sat here all post-game show and gave y'all reasons as to why we can't blame the defense when the offense keeps turning the ball over. Fred's not trying to hear that shit. He's got that old school Justin Smith mentality. He's got that old school Patrick Willis mentality. He's got that old school Vic Fangio mentality. You put us out there, it's our opportunity to make a play. It's our opportunity to show the rest of the league just how fucking good we are. And we dropped the ball. We allowed every single one of those 31 points. Minus the kicks for the extra points. We allowed all of those points. We allowed every single one of those scoring drives. I'm telling y'all, without seeing the rest of this, that's what you're going to get from Fred Warner. Don't ask me no more dumbass questions about the offensive side of the ball. I don't give a shit what's happening over there. That ain't got nothing to do with me. If we do our jobs, we cool. Listen to that man.
The quarterback is always going to receive the blame, like the brunt of the criticism. But Brock is like the least of my worries.
I don't give a shit what Brock is doing. He's the least of my worries. If we took care of business every time we stepped on the field, we wouldn't have this fucking conversation. The truth of the matter is we put up 17. If we held them to just 2 scores, it'd have been a different ball game. Mm-hmm. If we held them to their first 3 scores, it would have been 17 points and we could have went to overtime. Who knows what would have happened then? I don't give a fuck what they doing. We didn't hold up our end of the deal. Yeah, stop it with that shit. Get that nonsense out of here. Fred is in his bag already.
Brock is made of the right stuff. Yeah, can he protect the ball better? Sure, but
you want some real? Can he protect the ball better? Sure. I don't like those fucking turnovers. I don't like those 2 interceptions and that fucking that fumble, the sack fumble. I don't like none of that shit. Cool. But
he's the reason why we have a chance to win games in every single game that we're in. Like right now, I can't the common denominator right now is that I haven't been able to say in the last 3 losses that man, the games in every single game that we're in. Life. But
look at this.
He's the reason why we have a chance to win games in every single game that we're in.
2.
Like
3.
Right now, I can't like the common denominator right now is that
6,
I haven't been able to
7,
say in the last 3
8.
losses that man, the defense.
Sam, that was an 8-second eye
That
roll.
was
He,
an
he
8-second eye
couldn't even
roll.
lift his fucking eyes up, bro. That was an
It-
8-second eye roll.
Yeah.
That's a man.
He doesn't want to hear about the offense.
Come on, bro.
Like, ask about the friggin' defense. That's what he wants.
Come on,
And you're
bro.
you're asking about his weight being put on by Brock Purdy. No. Good on Fred Warner.
Come
Good on
on,
Fred
bro. Would y'all ask Snyder, the special teams coordinator, about what he felt about the offense? No.
No.
Don't ask me about how the fuck I feel about Brock Purdy.
Games in every single game that we're in. Like right now, I can't like the common denominator right now is that I haven't been able to say in the last 3 losses that man, the defense had our best outing. We just happened to lose. We're not playing good football on our side. And that's the reason why we haven't won the last 3 games. And that's got to get figured out. And it will get figured out. The bye will be great for us. You know, people want to say, oh man, it sucks. Like we can't just get the taste out of our mouth after a quick turnaround. Like we had that opportunity this week and we didn't get it right. So I'm going to look at it as, you know, a good reset to be able to go into the bye and figure this thing out and get back to playing 49er defense. Cause right now we're not.
Pause it right there. He could end the entire press conference right there.
Yep.
Because that as everything that he was going to get asked about and any
It was
future
all
question.
answered right there.
Yeah, it was all answered right there. He had just end the press conference right there. What else are they going to ask him? He's basically just going to repeat everything, or at least parts of what he just said in that clip.
Come on, man. Come on, Mr.
That's
DJ said it right.
That's such a stupid question to ask
a defensive
to ask
player.
the linebacker.
Come on, man. If we hold them to 0 points and the offense only scores 3, do we win that game?
Yes.
If we get a pick 6 and the offense don't score any points and we hold them to 0, do we win that game? Like, don't ask me about that side of the ball. Yo, my man is in his bag right here. And he kept it real. Could he have protected the ball better? Absolutely. I'm not happy with what the fuck he did. You think I'm satisfied with what Brock Purdy did? Absolutely not. But the game is the game, and we could have been better. We could have had 3 turnovers and only allowed 14 points and win the game. That's a fact.
Right.
Don't ask me about that. That shit don't make a difference. Who gives a shit about any of that? Right? But this is the point that was bigger than all of that, than all of what he said. I have not walked away from a single game and said the defense did all that they can do, which means we are just as much, if not more, responsible for these losses. I respect that. Here I am shooting Mike. Here I am shooting the defense bail saying I saw improvements. I didn't say they were great. I didn't even say they were good. I said I saw improvements. Right? Both can be true. But it's not good enough for the guy setting the standard for the defense. It's not good enough for him. I love this. All right, let me shut up. I'm gonna chill.
Out and get back to playing 49er defense because right now we're not.
What you just said about the defense is the most of your worries right now. What specifically are the things that are going wrong right now?
Just inconsistency across the board. I think tackling has been an issue when it hasn't been in the past.
Issue 1.
You know, players just got to execute at a higher level, including myself.
Issue 2.
We got to play more as a unit. There's
Issue
got to
3.
be more hunt to the football at all
Issue
3
4.
levels. There's got to be more penalty-free football.
I want to say something to y'all real quick. The Niners received the ball to start the game.
We didn't.
Christian McCaffrey comes out with an 8-yard play, but it results in a 3 and out. Right? We punt the ball, and on the Bengals opening drive, they fumble the ball, but they recover it.
Yep.
That play told me a lot. If the Niners swarm to the ball the way that they had in years past, that is easily a 49ers recovery. Because what the Niners used to do was if it was a pass to that side of the field, as soon as the whole defense saw the arm coming that way, they all swarmed that way. That was not the case in this game. And it allowed the same person who fumbled the ball with a body on top of him to recalibrate, see where the ball was, and recover it. Listen to what he says here.
Myself, we got to play more as a unit. There's got to be more hunt to the football at all three levels. There's got to be more penalty-free football. Like I said, execution got to be higher. We think that we're preparing hard. We think that we're putting a lot of work in. Obviously, we're not doing enough. There's got to be more. There's got to be more there. It's just what it is.
They did not hunt to the ball.
So uncharacteristic of your defense. What do you see from the pass coverage or the pass defense?
Yeah, no, we were going to keep it simple this game and rely on our execution to play our coverage and with our rush, and it just wasn't enough today. Playing complementary football, and I'll have to look at the tape to see exactly where we were wrong in that phase.
Complementary football and setting a tone defensively. How damaging do you think that first third down was, where you had two defensive linemen missed that sack and Burrow rolled out?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta be better on third and long. Like, that's got to be an automatic off the field. When we get them backed up in a third and long situation, I think back-to-back weeks we had one last week where it was about a 3rd and 12 and we gave up a check down for a first down in the beginning of the game. Same thing this game. But at the end of the day, like, that's not back breaking. Like, I think we gotta be better at bouncing back, off of adversity. Like, who cares if they get a first down, backed up in that situation early in the game? Like how are we going to respond? Like, it is what it is. I mean, we haven't shown that we can play from behind and come back and win a football game. So that's something that we got to address. And
Dan.
Yeah.
We haven't shown that we can play from behind and come back and win. Who is that a bigger indictment on? Which side of the ball? In your opinion. Don't speak for Fred. I want to know your opinion on that.
I think that contributes to both sides of the football, to be honest. I'm gonna say what I think. If I were to say that sentence, I think that we're not helping out in the areas that we should, and we haven't been able to fix the mistakes that we made in order to succeed and come back.
I love your answer.
Does that make sense?
I love your answer. I was trying to catch you off guard. I wanted you to commit one way or the other, and I was going to tell you that you were wrong, and it's on both sides. Here's why. If the Niners aren't playing from behind or can show the propensity to come back from behind and make it even, take a slight lead, show that momentum is on our side, then all of a sudden teams say, oh, shit, they're pressed. We got to start passing the ball more. The Niners have taken themselves out of position where the defense knows what type of plays are coming, right?
Right.
Remember I talked about that play where they snapped the ball and Joe Burrow just ran straight up the middle of the field right behind the center and got the first down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that don't happen if the Niners are showing, hey, no lead is safe. You got to be smart. That would have been a passing down. But teams are willing to take certain gambles on catching us off guard. It's 3rd and long. 98% of the time in the NFL against a respectable defense, that's a passing play. The team played pass, left the whole middle of the field open because they spread everybody out. Everybody was way outside the hashes. Joe Burrow went right down the middle of the field. But because there's nobody
playing that middle zone anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where did that go?
The Niners aren't giving teams a reason to be honest with them. They're giving teams the flexibility of being deceptive with their play calls, trick plays, so to speak, or, outside of the norm type of play calling. That's what they're doing. And they can't continue to do that. Until we show teams that they got to respect what we are, who we are, what we do, teams are going to continue to do that. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, teams are going to go for it. 4th and 2, teams are going to go for it. They can't fucking stop us.
Yeah,
Third and 20.
especially now, since
Right.
that's even exposed even more. It wasn't just
Mhm.
one game against. It wasn't just one game against the Vikings. It's been 2 in a row now.
Yep.
How are you going to
Mhm.
fix that?
Yep. And so Fred's absolutely
Something we
right.
gotta get better at. We can't just be a team that can only win when we're up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that's something we'll look at.
We're confident after beating Dallas by 32.
Not at all. I don't think so. I think after we won that game and we're going into the Browns, I mean, I think every single week the mindset is just to go 1-0. Like give your all to like just win one game. You know what I'm saying? And it's like to say that the mindset shifted after going starting 5-0, I really don't think so. It just isn't enough. And the easy thing right now to do is to say, you know, is to tuck away somewhere. Stuff is hard. You're down 3-0, you know, kind of hide in the corner. But I promise, like that's not the type of guys that we got. That's not who I am. I know I'm going to stand tall. I'm going to continue to rally the team. I'm going to continue to show up and put the most work in I can. And words are great. You know, I'm not trying to sit here and just give you a speech, but like actions obviously got to lead first. So that's just what we're going to do.
Talk your shit.
Criticism of Steve Wilkes. You know, he's a coach. That's the life you lead. But what do you think about the way he's coordinated? He said that he's kind of learning the defense. Do you think there's an adjustment period still going on?
Yeah, that's at least my worries. Honestly, I think players win games.
Hold on.
What was the question? I didn't hear it.
I'll rewind it, but I want you to focus on what he said at the end of the question. So he's asking, you know, there's been a lot of criticism of Steve Wilkes. What do you think of what he's done so far? He has said that listen to this. He has said that he's still learning the defense.
All right.
What do you think of that so far? If you guys, Mizell, stay here. I'm going to bring you in. I promise I'm going to bring you in if you stay with us. Mizell, stay there. I'll send you the link, okay? But not just yet. But hear me out. All right, Dan. What do you think of the criticism of Steve Wilkes? Do you think they're justified? He admitted that he's still learning the defense. What do you think of what's going on so far? I want to focus on one. No. I don't want you to answer that. I want you to hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
This question is super important. If Steve Wilkes is openly admitting that he is still learning the defense, that confirms everything I have said about him since the day he's been hired. He was brought in to be a fucking scapegoat and a yes man. Steve Wilkes don't have to learn the defense that he's implementing. That means that the Niners hired him and said, hey, we got something good. Don't fuck it up. If you're a defensive coordinator and you're hired to bring your defense here, then what the fuck are you learning?
Nothing.
You're not learning, you're teaching. Steve Wilkes isn't teaching shit. There's someone telling Steve Wilkes what to do while he's trying to call plays. The Niners fucked this up royally. The Niners completely ruined this shit. They thought, we moved on from Robert Saleh. What are we going to do? D'Amico came in, bam, hit the ground running. Fucking hot coals right there. Can't hold them, can't touch them. Hot coals, lava. Okay, we're going to do that shit again. We're going to bring somebody else in. Here's the difference. D'Amico was here.
Yeah,
D'Amico was part of this. D'Amico kept the train rolling. We brought a guy in who knows nothing about the way that we were doing shit. And we want to know why the defense looks so different. He's learning a system that's already here and trying to implement his changes.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
take my word for
a
it.
system he may not even be familiar with either.
Come on, bro. He's not familiar with this system.
No,
this question,
100%. I think that answer right there explains a ton. If he's still learning this defense like he should have been in the offseason and in the preseason, what the hell is going on?
Why is Steve Wilkes learning a defense if he's a defensive coordinator? That's the question.
That's a great question.
Defense. You hire a defensive coordinator to bring his defense to the team. That's
why are we
you
still
hire,
learning?
That's why you hire a guy. If you wanted to keep the same shit going, you promote from within. If you want to keep the same status quo, you promote from within. That's what they did with D'Amico.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Robert
He
Saleh
brought
was
in he
here.
brought in a new system. It
Come
worked
on, bro.
fine. We need to do
Come
the
on, bro.
same thing here. But we're
Robert
not
Saleh
doing
was
it.
here for 5 years. It started rough the first year. Second year, he flipped the switch. Looked fucking great. They wanted to keep the same shit going. They promoted from within with D'Amico. Keep the same shit going. It continued at an excellent rate. Top 3 defense, number 1 defense twice.
Yep.
You don't go outside the building and bring somebody in and say, "Hey, keep the same shit going." Well, I'm a respected member in the NFL. I have my own thoughts and opinions. And then I got to go to the podium and tell people, well, you know, I'm still learning the defense and the ways of the 49. What the fuck?
What does
So
that mean?
Why'd you hire me? It's either my defense or it's not.
Yeah.
And clearly, from this, it's not. Let's hear what he says.
You know, I'm not trying to sit here and just give you a speech, but like actions obviously got to lead first. So that's just what we're gonna do.
Let's go.
Got some criticism of Steve Wilkes. You know, he's the coach. That's the life you lead. But what do you think about the way he's coordinated? He said that he's kind of learning the defense. Do you think there's an adjustment period still going on?
Yeah, that's at least my words. Honestly, I think players win games, not coaches. I think he's done a great job.
God damn it. That's the first lie Fred told this whole thing. God damn it. He said, I believe players win games, not coaches. Now, while that is technically true.
Yes, technically, yes.
It technically is true, but the truth of the matter is, if coach says run play A, and all the players go out and run play B, and play B doesn't work, coach is mad at all the players, and he's looking to bench people. Why the fuck weren't y'all listening to me? Players execute the plays that coach calls. And if coach doesn't know how we do shit, he ain't going to call the right plays. And that's the conundrum that the 49ers find themselves in, bringing a guy in from outside the fucking system and asking him to continue to run it. But we respect you enough because you're a veteran guy in the NFL. We're going to give you some freedoms also. It can't be both. San Francisco has to make up their mind. We're going to run a Steve Wilkes defense or we're going to run our defense. And if we're going to run our defense and Steve Wilkes can't get the hang of it, Wilkes has got to go. I'm not saying I want Steve Wilkes fired, but the 49ers have to make a fucking decision.
Yeah. That's the thing, too. I was going to come in here kind of like defend Wilkes today and say, you have some things to fix. But after hearing those last 2 comments, man, that just makes me want him to go out the door even more. Maybe not out the door, but I don't want him in control anymore.
Bingo.
After I heard that.
Bingo. That's exactly it.
Because if you keep doing this, this is going to be a slaughterhouse week after week after week, at least on our defensive side.
Yep.
The offense can fix their mistakes, and let's assume that the offense does fix their mistakes, right? Let's say we have games against good offenses. This is going to be 40 to 42 shootouts every week. Yeah. I don't want that. So Wilkes has got to go, or this is going to keep happening. This is how I see it.
Yeah. No, and Fred confirms as much. Listen.
Learning the defense, do you think there's an adjustment period still going on?
Yeah, that's at least my words. Honestly, I think players win games, not coaches. I think he's done a great job. I think
Fred Warner, the leader of the defense, all the praise that we just gave him in the first 2 minutes of this.
Yep. Right there.
He just completely
out the window.
He just dismissed the whole fucking defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He just
Mike,
undid.
I'm gonna say one more thing and I'll just continue. I'm shocked that it's not even worse than it is now. Honest to God.
Yeah.
The fact that the defense themselves, I mean, taking out the 2 turnovers today that got turned into touchdowns, the fact that we've only given up 17 points to the Bengals, 22 or 23 to the Vikings.
Well, we gave up 31 to the Bengals, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm taking away the 2 turnovers that were in the red zone. But giving up 23 to the Vikings and only, 19 to the Browns?
19 to the Browns, yep.
The fact that those games were not blowouts, after hearing this, honestly, it blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I got nothing else to say after that.
This tells me that this is players trying to overcome the flaws of the plays being called. Now, I respect Fred's honesty. I respect him as a man, and I'm still just as hype. I would still be buying the jersey because he's telling you guys like it is. Fred Warner right now in this answer got caught. He got caught. This is no PC answer. This is him being vulnerable and just getting. He got caught slipping right here. Players win games, not coaches. Wrong. Fred Warner's absolutely wrong.
That's bull crap.
He's absolutely wrong. It is the quintessential complementary game here. Players plus coaches win games. You can have the best players in the entire NFL, and if the coaches aren't calling the right plays, they lose. We've seen it with the Browns year after year after year. The Browns and Washington Commanders are the two teams that spend the most money every offseason, the busiest in the fucking draft. They don't hesitate to go out and make someone the highest paid at their position, and year after year after year, they're sub 500. They go out and hire who they think are the everything has to be in sync. The Niners had Robert Saleh, who had never been a coach. This was a quality control guy who worked his way up through the rankings and became a coach and had the number one defense for 3 consecutive years. Right? This is chemistry. This is cohesion. This is complementary ball on both sides from players and coaches. And for Fred Warner to go out there and say that says that we have to overcome what he's doing, what he's saying, and what he's calling. He exposed a little more than what he should have in this answer.
Players win games, not coaches. I think he's done a great job. I think right now the issue is, I mean, there's going to be ebbs and flows in the season, especially with a new defense coordinator. I think the offensive side has gone through that as well when we lost McDaniel. You know, like even though Kyle is the play caller, like when you lose a coach, there's going to be adjustments being made throughout the season. So we got to continue to work on that. But at the end of the day, players are going to be the reason that we win games. We got to execute at a higher level, player-wise.
And the ending of that, they started the press conference with asking him if he still had confidence in Brock Purdy. And he basically said, don't ask me shit about the offensive side of the ball. It ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
And they asked him a question specifically about the defense. And he had to get it off of answering the question, just like what happened on the offensive side of the ball. He undid everything that I praised him for, just like that.
Right.
Because he had to deflect. I can't sit here and blame my boss. I can't tell you guys that my boss ain't doing his job right. So just like it happened on the offensive side of the ball, it's going to happen on the defense. Like he had to deflect. And look at his eyes. He looked disappointed in the fact that he had to deflect.
There's going to be adjustments being made throughout the season. So we got to continue to work on that. But at the end of the day, players are going to be the reason that we win games. We got to execute at a higher level, player-wise.
Dude, I can't believe that.
Nothing I can really put my finger on. I'm not going to make excuses for why we're missing tackles. We got to tackle better.
Defense. What can you say? What did you say to your defensive teammates today?
I said to the defense and to the entire team, this is it. Like, we didn't have a game after this. This was our season right here. There's one game. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, knowing that we had a bye going into next week, just emptying the tank for one game, and it obviously wasn't enough.
Okay.
That's got to be disappointing. If he sincerely told the players, hey, guys, this is our season. We are going out here and we're playing for our season, and they still lost this way, that's disappointing.
Yeah. 100%.
Mizell, Kal-El, there are 2 more people coming up to the podium to speak, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sending you the link right now. Feel free to click it and come on in here. All right. Come on in here, man. Let's talk. We're going to get to the next presser. It's happening right away.
Who's the next presser?
This next one, let me bring it back up here. This next one is George Kittle. Let's see what he's got to say, man. My man George Kittle.
What are you guys doing back there? I love that. Turf last week in Minnesota got me. Those turf snakes, man. Goodness gracious. That slit turf. Pretty sure it's like one of 4 slit turf fields left, and statistically the most dangerous turf to play on. So it's all right though. I'll be all right.
What's your thumbprint on what's going on with this offense? 17 points, 3 games in a row. Is there a common element why you're not scoring more points?
Turnovers, I would say. I don't know. I don't read the stats every single week. I don't feel like as an offense we're running the ball a lot or very much or very well, I think is my number one thing. Just doesn't feel like it. You know, we might. I don't know what the stats are. I know that ever since I've been a 49er, you know, outside zone has been like our number one thing. And I just don't know. We know we've penalties the last 3 weeks, so it's kind of hard to run the ball when it's 1st and 20. 2nd and 15, like it's hard to run the ball in those situations. So we have to rely on the pass. And when you have to rely on the pass, it makes you one-dimensional. And one of the best things that we do is run the football. And we just put ourselves in a situation where we can't run the football. And whether that's turnovers, whether that's penalties, whether it's getting down in the 4th quarter.
Holy shit.
Yeah. There's no like, hey, what is going to fix this, right? We have a very good, talented football team. We have good coaches. And we're just not winning the game right now. And to me, you know, just being a tight end that usually like tip of the spear, we got to run the football outside zone. I just don't think we've been able to do that because of penalties and turnovers.
Dan, I hate to say this, but I might be with you, bro. I might be with you. The Jacksonville game might be a loss.
Yep.
We got wow. Holy shit. Oh my God.
I feel like he's trying to say it's our fault without saying it's our fault.
No. What he just said is way worse than it's our fault.
Oh, I think I missed that part. I missed some of what he said because it cut out on my side.
No, that's fine. I will happily rewind this. What he said is way worse than just it's our fault, meaning the offensive side of the ball.
No.
What they asked him, what's going on with the offense? 17 points the last 3 weeks. What's changed? What's different? All right. So last week at the end of the game, we heard Nick Bosa say, and I made a huge deal of it. Well, we used to be a team that used to just rush forward to get after the quarterback, and that's not the case now. So we're still adjusting. That was Nick Bosa blaming the scheme and the coaches, because the scheme comes from the coaches.
Yeah.
They asked George Kittle what's going on with the offense, and he just said, well, we used to be a heavy outside zone run team, and we used to run the ball a lot and be in third and manageables, and it just doesn't seem like that's the case now. I could be wrong. So you go from you go from Nick Bosa blaming the coaching staff and the play calling to George Kittle blaming the coaching staff and the play calling. And that includes Kyle Shanahan. This is big. This should not be overlooked with his answer. I'm going to run it back. I'm going to hit play. I want you to listen again, and I'm going to start adding some guys to the chat here.
I don't know. I don't read the stats every single week. I don't feel
element why you're not. What's going on with this offense? 17 points, 3 games in a row. Is there a common element why you're not scoring more points?
turnovers, I would say. I don't know. I don't read the stats every single week. I don't feel like as an offense we're running the ball a lot or very much or very well, I think is my number one thing. Just doesn't feel like it. You know, we might. I don't know what the stats are. I know that ever since I've been a 49er, you know, outside zone has been like our number one thing. And I just don't know. We know we've penalties the last 3 weeks, so it's kind of hard to run the ball when it's 1st and 20, 2nd and 15. Like, it's hard to run the ball in those situations, so we have to rely on the pass. And when you have to rely on the pass, it makes you one-dimensional. And one of the best things that we do is run the football. And we just put ourselves in a situation where we can't run the football. And whether that's turnovers, whether that's penalties, whether it's getting down in the 4th quarter, there's no like, hey, what is going to fix this, right? We have a very good, talented football team. We have good coaches, and we're just not winning the game right now. And to me, you know, just being a tight end that usually like tip of the spear, we got to run the football outside zone. I just don't think we've been able to do that because of penalties and turnovers. And us being a one-dimensional football team isn't very good.
Several of those turnovers. What are you seeing from Brock? What did you see from Brock today?
I mean, Brock's the reason we're in every single game. Brock's the reason we win football games. He's our quarterback. He's a very skilled football player.
Ladies and gentlemen, before every presser, the 49er staff meets with certain players that are going to speak. And they give them very specific talking points. If you're asked about X, Y, or Z, this is what you should try to allude to. George Kittle and Fred Warner just gave you what that talking point was.
Yep.
This team was prepped. This team was spotted. You're going to get questions about doubting Brock Purdy. You're going to be asked if you still believe in Brock Purdy, if you think we should move on from Brock Purdy, if Brock Purdy is still the guy, do you still feel confident in him? And we got almost verbatim the same words from a defensive leader and an offensive leader. And those words were, Brock Purdy is the reason why we have a chance in each of these games. You just heard it in back-to-back answers from opposite sides of the ball. This is media training. This is when they tell you what to say, which means don't go out there and say what you really think about Brock Purdy.
Yep.
Listen again.
Here we're going to run the football out of the zone. I still think we've been able to do that because of penalties and turnovers, and us being a one-dimensional football team isn't very good.
Several of those turnovers. What are you seeing from Brock? What did you see from Brock today?
I mean, Brock's the reason we're in every single game. Brock's the reason we win football games. He's our quarterback. He's a very skilled football player. I think Kyle probably said it. His first interception, that's a shovel play. He's supposed to either pitch it to me or hand it off. And, I think he might have predetermined it and tried to, give me a shot at the shovel, but it wasn't there. And then he tried to make a play and, hey, they made a better play. I mean, I don't sit back there. Quarterbacks, there's two positions of football I would never want to play, and that's quarterback and cornerback. So, those are, two tough positions. And I don't want, the only thing I'd ask Brock to do is, hey, man, try not to throw interceptions. I don't know. Turnovers are hard. Like, I'm not going to put myself back in his shoes and say, oh, I wouldn't have made that throw. I don't know what it takes to play quarterback. I don't play that position. All I know is that it's hard to win football games when you lose a turnover battle, which we've done 2 weeks in a row. And we obviously just have to play better, and we have to put ourselves in situations where we can run the football more and we don't have to throw the ball so many times.
Yo, I don't know if people play this pressure game the way that I play it. I don't know if people dissect it, hang on to every word, look at the body language the way that I do. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe there are people out there that do it better than me. I find it odd, very odd, that when asked about the quarterback and the offensive production, they both give the team give an answer, which is obvious to me. Brock is the reason we have an opportunity to win every single game because, let's be honest, from the very first loss of the season against Cleveland, right? We had the opportunity to win because they drove them down the field. We missed the kick. So that's a safe answer to say. But within the same exact answers, before a new question was asked, they both said, well, I wish he didn't turn the ball over so much. Fred Warner said ball security. Kittle specifically said interceptions. They're both thinking it. They're all feeling it. But they're also trying to follow the protocol that was set before them. When asked about Brock Purdy, make sure you guys say that he's the reason we're in here. Oh, I can't wait to get Terradome off mute. I can't wait to open this back up to Dan. We're going to finish this by George Kittle. Y'all make notes. I'm going to get to y'all. I promise I'm going to get to y'all. We're going to go full screen. There's somebody speaking after George, I'm sure. But we're going to go full screen after George is done, and I'm going to get to y'all. But if I don't get these thoughts out, I know me and my ADD, I'm going to forget everything that I want to say. I got to get it out now, but here we go. Let's get back to it.
One thing I love about Brock is having situations where we can run the football more to win football games when you lose a turnover battle, which we've done 2 weeks in a row. And we obviously just have to play better, and we have to put ourselves in situations where we can run the football more and we don't have to throw the ball so many times. One thing I love about Brock is he's very hard on himself, and he's very he can look in the mirror and say, hey, I need to play better. I'm not going to say that he needs to play better. We need to turn the ball over less. And, he's going to be fine. I'm not worried about Brock. He's the reason that we win football games as an offense. You see the 30 points a game in the first 5 weeks. That's Brock Purdy. And it's Kyle Shanahan scheming us up and doing about turn. Brock
my
is,
God.
We can run the football more, and we don't have to throw the ball so many times.
Let me hear this question.
One thing I love about Brock is he's very hard on himself, and he's very he can look in the mirror and say, "Hey, I need to play better." I'm not going to say that he needs to play better.
Right there. These players were instructed not to negatively critique Brock Purdy. I'm telling y'all. I am telling y'all right now. Well, I love that Brock can critique himself, and I'm not going to say that he can play better because he does that on his own. He breaks that down for you guys. I love that he does that, so I don't have to do it. So I can't do it.
We need to turn the ball over less, and he's going to be fine. I'm not worried about Brock. He's the reason that we win football games.
There's the team answer again. He's the reason we win. He's the reason we have opportunities to win. Quarterbacks are going to get most of the blame in the loss. Quarterbacks are going to get all the victory in a win. He's the reason. He's the reason. Give him the good old 1-2 team-spirited answer. Don't criticize Brock Purdy negatively at the podium. This is directed by the team, people. My opinion. I can't wait to hear what Terradome has to say. I can't wait to hear what Dan has to say. But if this isn't painfully obvious to y'all, I don't know what gets more obvious than this. We are being slapped in the face with frying pans like this is a cartoon of Tom and Jerry. Just run around the corner and bow, flat face. It's here. It's here. This is what they are instructed to say. And the truth is, they're so hurt. They're still so close to the moment. They can't help but say how they really feel. Stop turning the fucking ball over. We might have a shot. Give us a damn chance, huh? It's enough of us good guys on the field that if you didn't do that, maybe we can egg one of these out.
As an offense, you see the 30 points a game in the first 5 weeks. That's Brock Purdy. And it's Kyle Shanahan scheming us up and doing a bunch of stuff, but that's Brock making plays. I mean, and you see Brock, was that the drive to get us, get it kind of close? It was, he makes all these awesome rollout plays, and he's throwing it back across his body, giving us an opportunity to win. That's what Brock does. And he's going to get better from this. I think we're going to get better from this. I know we're going to get better from it. And you look back, hey, last year, I think we were sitting at 3-4. We had Christian McCaffrey, added that. We still lost. And we're like, oh, what do we need to fix? We just need to play better. And that's the overall theme. We just need to play better. And I also, losing your third game going into a bye week, God, that's not really fun. But the good news is it kind of, you sit on that and it's going to fester and it's going to be really annoying. And am I going to be able to enjoy my bye week? I will, but the back of my head is just going to be like, let's stop losing. And how am I going to be better? What can I do better? And there's like 3 or 4 plays that I probably could have been better in that football game. And, we'll come back and we'll look at the film and I'm going to play better.
Patreon episode. I'm telling y'all right now, I got a whole bye week to do this. I'm going to tell y'all right now, here's a Patreon episode for y'all. Is the team too dependent on week 9 adjustments? I did not like hearing him say, oh, well, we were 3-4 last year, and then Christian McCaffrey came and we still lost, and then we turned it up. Right? That's shit that fans say. That's the kind of stuff that fans looking for hope, grasping at straws say. I've said it. Right? I refuse to throw in the cards on this season after a 5-0 start. Right? I'll come on here and say, well, October isn't really Kyle's month. We usually turn it up around this time of year. I'm cool with that. I've been saying that shit for the last 2 weeks. What I don't want to hear is a player in there saying the same thing. I don't want to hear, oh, well, this is the time of year where we usually turn it around and we get back. No. No, absolutely not. You can't say that. We hopeful. We faithful. That's what we're banking on, so we keep tuning in. That can't be your reason for showing up to work, though. Oh, well, this is when we flip the switch. You can't say that. You as a player actively in it cannot come to the podium and be like, oh, well, we started 3-4 and then we lost another one with Christian McCaffrey, but then we went undefeated. You can't, no, George. You can't give us that answer. That's for us pathetic content creators to say. That's for us to try to say, see, guys, I told you it was going to be all right. That's for us. You guys got to find the answers. We're just hoping. We're not in there with y'all. We're praying that you guys see what's really wrong. We're hoping that you guys can see the issues and make corrective actions. You can't just sit here and say, oh, well, statistically speaking, what the fuck? You can't do that, G. You got to be better than that. This is a bad sign. Oh, I can't wait to break this down later. I can't wait to break this down. Make y'all notes. Tara, don't write something down. Dan, write something down. I'm going to ask y'all these. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to give y'all the floor when he's done speaking, I promise. But I want to hear something. Y'all better have something to say about that shit. I'm going to run it back. Y'all better have something to say about that. That's not an acceptable answer by a member of the team. We notice coincidences. They can't depend on coincidences. There's a very different mindset involved in that. We notice it. They don't live by it. They create it. They can't depend on it. We hope for it. There's a difference, a big difference. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to stop yelling. I'm sorry.
Like, oh, what do we need to fix? We just need to play better. And that's the overall theme. We just need to play better. And I also, losing your third game going into a bye week, God, that's not really fun. But the good news is it kind of, you sit on that and it's going to fester and it's going to be really annoying. And am I going to be able to enjoy my bye week? I will. But the back of my head is just going to be like, let's stop losing. And how am I going to be better? What can I do better? And there's like 3 or 4 plays that I probably could have been better in that football game. And, you know, we'll come back and we'll look at the film and I'm going to play better.
Did this team get overconfident after beating Dallas by 32?
No, I don't think it's a confidence thing. You look at we go into Cleveland, and you know, I wouldn't say overconfident. We should be confident because of the players and the staff that we have. Like, I'm not worried about that. I think it's you look at Cleveland, what do we have, 15 penalties? You can't win a football game with 15 penalties and multiple turnovers. Like, I mean, you can. It's just really, and then, you know, we had an opportunity to win at the end. We didn't. And I don't think it's an overconfidence thing. I think it's Grant, I can't give you an answer on why we're losing besides turnovers. I don't think we're running the ball enough. And situationally, I don't think we can run the ball because of the situation we're putting ourselves in. And no, I mean, also, I think, you know, we have an offense with explosive players all over the football field, and, you know, we can win these games. And we had an opportunity down there. We're at 17-10, and hey, we have a turnover. Turnovers really hurt you. And, you know, I'm not going to, there's no pointing fingers like that. Like, there's the plays that can be made all over the football field. But it's hard to win football games when you have 3 turnovers.
Usually this is when this team is rolling, keep it going. Is it weird to start so well and didn't have this as opposed to maybe start slow and finishing strong?
I mean, losing's weird in general. I hate it. It sucks. I'd much rather win. But you know, years past, like we backed ourselves into a corner, you know, backs against the wall, whatever it was. And, you know, we dug down and we went on runs and we're able to put ourselves in positions to get into the playoffs. And, you know, what's football without a little adversity? And you don't want it to be easy all the time. You want to go through these grimy games, these crappy games, I guess. You know, you'd prefer to win them, but I think we have the team, we have the men on this team that are going to respond well to adversity. And we're going to do our best, and we're going to go out there and we're going to play at a high level. We're going to play better.
The outside zone.
Hmm?
Our team, you know, our defense is selling out to stop that more so than maybe they have in the past.
I don't know. I mean, first play of the game was outside zone, went for 8 yards. You can sell out against it. There's certain plays that we run them better than anybody else. It's a copycat league. You see people run them all over the league, and they don't run them nearly as well as us. You don't have the offensive line, the tight ends, the fullback, the running back that runs like we do, the wide receivers that block downfield like we do. Like I said, I love running outside zone because when you have outside zone, you get to run play action, bootlegs, keepers, all that off of it. And when you have turnovers and you have penalties, and you're playing behind the sticks, you're playing down, it's hard to run the football and get access to all those plays. And so we need to be cleaner up front early on so then we can continue to run the football, run outside zone, run some gap scheme, and be the physical 49ers offense that, we know and love. Thanks, guys. No, thank you guys. You guys have a good one.
I was wrong, guys. George Kittle was the last presser of the evening. That was it. I'm going to bring the whole cast up. Wow. I'm not going to lie to you guys at all. I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all. George Kittle's presser scared the shit out of me. Terradome, you're laughing at me. Y'all feel free to take yourselves off of mute. Listen, to be complete 100% transparency, I'm tapping out on the season based off of George Kittle's presser alone. I can't sit here and listen to a guy say, statistically speaking, and typically what happens is that's not self-reflection. That's not self-correction. That's hope. And if the players in the locker room sound like they're hoping for hope, looking for hope, and not saying we have answers, I'm worried. I'm scared. I'm going to make no qualms about it. All right? Terradome, hold your thoughts, brother. Dan, hold your thoughts. Kal-El, Daddy P, you've been waiting for a while to get in, man. You've been holding tight. Take yourself off mute. Air your grievances, man. What's going on with you, big dog? Poke that screen, dude. We can't hear you. There you go.
I'm good now. Yeah, I'm here. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, family?
I'm about to go get in bed and cry.
I feel you. Hey, that was look, all right. I'm just do my little that was horrible, man. Like that ain't good. I don't know, Mike, though. I mean, I think you put a little bit more pressure on with the pressers. But I can understand your point of view when you're saying that. But of course, obviously, who actually gonna get up there and be all like, hey, Brock throwing too many picks. You ain't gonna do that to your guy, not today's media. You won't do it. Cause that'll be everywhere, ESPN, everybody they see it. They don't want to do that. Not to their career, not to their team. So I kind of understand your perspective. They want to say it, but they can't say it. But you shouldn't say it no way, because that's
But
a
they
bad look.
did say it. Fred and George said, "Hey, take better care of the ball."
They did say it, but I mean, everybody know that. Shit, we saw it. You saw it. I saw it.
The team is
saw it. We all
instructing
saw it.
The team is instructing you to not say it. You make a concerted effort to not say it,
but
yet
you still said
say it. And I'm putting too much on it. I can't be the one putting too much on it. If the team say, "Hey, don't blame Brock. Give him credit for us being in the games," and then you still say it, that can't be Mike sauce.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, Mike. I get it. I do. I really understand, because they slick, even like with the shot at the coaching. They slick did that too, but they didn't say it directly, but they did imply it. And look, I wouldn't say fire Wilkes. I'm not on that, but what is that? What deep? That's the last 3 weeks. Okay, let's be real. Why was we winning? I'm gonna just say the reason we were winning, the most specific reason we were winning is because we were playing clean football, penalty less. The defense, however, has always had a lot of penalties.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
You disagree?
Wholeheartedly. We had less penalties this game than any game we had all season. Less penalties this game than
we had we had several
we had 5
holdings
penalties today, bro.
So what? I think we had like 7, Mike.
We had 5 accepted penalties this game. Accepted.
So there was a bunch of others
penalties this game.
Right. So there was a bunch of others still.
But when we played Cleveland, hear me out. When we played Cleveland, we lost that game by 2, and at 15 accepted. There were 4 denied also in that game. I'm not blaming penalties. I'm not blaming
bad
penalties, bro.
penalties. I'm not the bogus ones because I do feel like but sloppy play puts you behind the sticks. Having ones and 20s because of holding 1st and 20s, that's a difference between getting the first down, but now you doubling your chances of trying to get all of that. Them penalties do hurt, and they prevent you from actually being able to do your game plan and the next play because you got to line up for a whole different aspect. But I do understand, like, still should have came back. Yeah, the picks, you threw the picks. Y'all saw Patrick Mahomes today, how great he is, and I mean, brother had a few bad games, but when things were more smooth and defense was playing better, like we
Daddy P
have
don't do
had
this.
really good games.
Daddy
But this
P
is
don't do
bad
this.
defense.
Daddy P don't do this.
This is bad defense, and I'm not saying just only on the players.
I don't know. I don't.
Coaching on that
Daddy P.
is crazy.
Big bruh, I don't know why you're talking about Patrick. I don't know why you're talking about Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy in the same sentence. Don't you do this? You gonna make me be the bad guy? I don't want to be that guy.
It's bad though. Is it not? Is that defense not looking bad? Is that offense the way everything from the coaching is all looking horrible?
What does this defense have to do with what you were saying about Patrick Peterson? Now you were breaking up in the middle of that, so I'm gonna give you the chance to. Didn't he say something about Patrick? What'd you say?
I said Patrick Mahomes. I said, did y'all see Patrick Mahomes today?
Okay, yes. What does that have to do with this team?
No, I was talking about the quarterback play. As far as having a bad game and getting out there and stinking it up. Even though we've seen Brock play better than this. We've seen the offense play better than this.
What does that have to do with this team?
Patrick don't have nothing to do with this team.
I'm not trying to be funny. I want to know the correlation that you're drawing here.
So the correlation I'm drawing, it ain't about, it was just quarterback. We got Brock Purdy, who a couple weeks ago, everybody was talking about MVP and all that. But all I'm talking about is just a quarterback in the league, in this league, will have horrible games like Brock has had today and last week. But that all comes from, and you heard what he said, right? He was trying to do too much. He admitted that, especially on that the one where he was supposed to hand it off, but he decided he gonna do something else and tried to go off script and and that's the first interception he got, trying to do too much. He admitted on that he should have just handed it off. So trying to do too much and trying to overcompensate because you from behind instead of executing is the same reason Patrick Mahomes had a bad day as well. On the fundamental aspects of it. That's the correlation I'm making.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
Here's the difference. Very simple to me. Brock Purdy has 14 games. Patrick Mahomes has multiple MVPs and multiple seasons of saying, hey, I'm due a bad game. Patrick Mahomes is on a team where they say, hey, I'm not hopping from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback. These situations are not comparable in my humble opinion. Okay? I started this whole show begging the Niners to not give up on Brock Purdy. While a lot of people felt that I was attacking him and Kyle Shanahan, my whole point was Kyle gives up on guys as soon as he identifies a decline. You don't got to worry about that with Andy Reid. You don't got to worry about that with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes
development process.
has a full-ass successful resume, including Super Bowl victories, including NFL MVPs, including multiple All-Pro seasons, including multiple Pro Bowl seasons. This kid, 14 games. We're not talking about the same thing. Patrick Mahomes has very patient Andy Reid. Brock Purdy has impatient Kyle Shanahan. Not the same situation. Patrick Mahomes looked bad today against a divisional opponent. Every football fan will say it was a divisional game. This shit happened. These are not the same. These situations are not the same. They're not even close, in my opinion.
I hear you on that.
Now, I do want the fellas to take themselves off of mute. I want to hear from y'all, right? And I want to go on mute. I would like y'all to have a nice dialogue amongst yourselves, but I'll chime in if I got to play, coordinator and moderator if I have to. But I would love for y'all to take yourselves off of mute. We got a lot to go over with this game.
I'd love to have a conversation with Ted, though. Let's go.
With what Kittle just said. I would love to hear from y'all. Kittle gave me a lot of worry. More than what I was expecting to get from anybody at the podium today. And I think the team did a good job of saying, hey, let's end these pressers. Nobody else can speak. We're going to hear from one defensive player all day. Nobody else is coming to the podium. Nobody. All right, so I'm going to shut up. I'm going on mute. Y'all fellas have at it. And like I said, I'll unmute and moderate when necessary.
Oh my gosh. Daredevil.
What's going on, fellas?
How's everybody doing? How's my mic sound?
Sounds pretty good.
I'm getting some feedback in my earpiece. It's like somebody's close to is your mic close to something? Or I think it might be you, the corner man. Is your mic? Are you in your ear? That's it. Okay. Yeah. I really like George Kittle's presser. He brought up some very lucid and very valid points in reference to what goes into the catalyst of this offense. The San Francisco 49ers are predicated on running the football. This is what we do. We have never, in the history of Kyle Shanahan's regime, been a pass-happy, throw the ball all over the field, Air Coryell team. It has been predicated. The identity has been run the football and run it really well using counter gap, counter option trap, outside and inside zone read. Has it not?
Yes,
When you take that away, it now becomes identity theft. You're searching to find something different than you really are.
Right.
When you get in penalty situations where you are 1st and 15, 1st and 20, it now shrinks the very vestige of how you can call plays and how you do call plays. Case in point, if I was 1st and 10, I'm calling, our standard counter gap zone read, red 8, Z 48. We're just going to run it. But if you get a false start, if you get a holding, if you get something else, now it's 1st and 10 or 1st and 15, 1st and 20. Well, I got to get 20 yards now. Now I got to open up some things and throw the ball a little bit. Now I got to come up and get a little bit more elaborate. That ain't really what I was planning on doing, but I'll reach in there in the middle Rolodex. Hey, somebody make a play. Let's get it downfield.
But Terra don't
Go
That
ahead.
happened. No, just that only happened one time tonight.
No, that happened multiple times, Mike.
No,
Multiple.
Mike, over the last
Yes.
3 weeks, over the
Oh,
last
you
3 weeks,
okay?
how has this
Okay.
have not penalties played a part?
That's what I'm saying.
in
They
the
have.
offense?
But they've had
I
a
have,
lot of
I have
offensive penalties.
formulated what you cannot do in red zone situations, on offensive situations.
Yeah.
I broke it down to 5 P's, and they all predicate on different aspects of the game. You can't have picks, penetration. You can't put it on the ground. You can't have penalties, and the play caller got to be right.
My apologies.
That
I thought
ensures your success. Okay, and if we need to isolate it, hey y'all, okay, here you go. Brock threw 2 picks back to back, inexcusable. There were 2 players within 5 yards of each other. It is a football foundational piece that there should not be 2 receivers. One man can cover 2, and you let go of that ball in the middle of the field. It was Jimmy G-esque. It was horrible. You can't do that. Brock did exactly wrong. It was bad. It was horrible. It was a bad play. It was inexcusable. Can we get past that? Was that enough, Mike? Was that enough? Yeah, it was bad. It was
bad.
He was just wretchedly horrible on that play. It was as bad as Jimmy G throwing a pick 8. No, it was as bad as Dan Orlowski running out of the back of the end zone. No, it was as bad as the butt fumble portrayed on national TV by Mark Sanchez. Do y'all want me to go a little further? All right, he threw 2 picks. He threw them.
Yeah.
It was him.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Brock.
Yeah.
And before that, he missed the handoff. And if you had played his presser, he said, I kicked it. I missed the handoff. And I knew it when I saw it. I said, that's a broken play. He was supposed to do that little shovel pass or something. He was supposed to do a little something on that different. He goes to the presser. He says, I missed it. I missed the handoff. Kittle was supposed to be right there. And I went on out there, just tried to get jazzy, get jiggy with it. And I threw it. And that kid, number 57 for the Cincinnati Bengals, made one hell of a play. I got to get it. I scouted these players 2 weeks before the game. I looked at it. I said, we got to run away from number 91. That boy's in the top 5 of sack leaders. Hendrickson. I said, stay away from that daggone 57. That 57 can play some ball, and he made one heck of a play. He tipped
And
that
if you
thing and picked it up. He did.
If number 29 didn't stand out to you on that defense, brother,
I had him with my list.
But he got out early. He got out early though. But he was
Taylor, is it Taylor Britt? He was on. Yeah, I watched these boys. I knew who you needed to look out for. All right. But getting back to my original point, the picks, and I got it at the top of the list. You can't throw picks. You can't do it. And the defense actually saved them. They saved them on that pick he threw inexplicably in the red zone, because what is more valuable than points in football is points off turnovers. That creates a 14-point swing. Now somebody else in Minnesota fumbled that ball on the first drive, put it on the ground. That's running backs. His name was Christian McCaffrey. And Minnesota went down and scored off of that. And I said, it's a 17-point swing right there, because we usually score on the first drive and we were in position. But I don't hear, let's throw away Christian. Let's go get that. Let's bring Trey Lance back. I don't hear, let's get Kirk Cousins, who prayers up to Kirk. He blew his Achilles today. Glory to God. I hope he's healed. That's a good man. I like Kirk Cousins. I deal with a man, and that's a horrible injury. That's what your boy Rodgers went through, the 4th play of the season opener. But he'll be back. Amen. But I don't hear the call for all of that. All I know is Brock had three bad games. He ain't nothing but Jimmy G. He ain't nothing but he worse than Jimmy G. He coming back to earth. He ain't really that good. He didn't do nothing. But I don't hear the same thing when he.
Hold on, Terry.
I got 3 layered throws. You go ahead. It's your program.
No. I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm just trying to get some clarity. You're saying that you haven't heard people calling for other quarterbacks? Is that what you just said?
I haven't heard people call for other running backs.
Oh, other run. Okay.
Yeah,
I digress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw CMC away. Throw all those good things he did before. And it's in the military, man. I've been dealing with this thing 20 years. One wipes out 1,000 attaboys. And victory has 1,000 fathers, but losing is an orphan. I totally get it, and I totally understand it, and I totally respect it. But we're going to look at some different aspects, and we all going to come to some agreements around here. It ain't just Brock Purdy. It is some protection. And let me digress. Let me go first to the head and the top. We got leadership issues. Let me ask everybody this within the sound of my voice who knows about the San Francisco 49ers. Who leads us out with the big boom box with 2 numbers, 2 players, 2 entities, 2 all-pros lead us out of every end zone that we come out in all of creation? Who has been doing that last 2 years? 3 years.
Williams and Debo.
Were they present the last couple of weeks?
If you don't get that nonsense out of here, these motherfuckers coming off the field with a boombox over their shoulders don't make a difference in wins and losses. Stop it.
Okay. Maybe it don't. For you, Mike. I know. For you, everything is this. Hold on. I know for you it is that. It's that. I know.
That makes a conspiracy.
Amen.
Everything.
Glory to God. I got a little something for you. But if you take all pros,
respect.
If you take all pros and a future gold jacket wearing Hall of Famer off of any team, that team is different. It is different.
That laptop was getting ate up.
No. Wait, hold on now. See,
Go ahead.
y'all are even very valuable context out here.
Okay.
Trent Williams this year has been responsible for 2 penalties a game. Jalen Moore has not. Trent Williams has given.
So you comparing Trent Williams to Jalen Moore?
I'm talking about the games that he's had to fill in. Trent Williams has given up 2 sacks this year.
Mike just said that Jalen Moore is better than Trent Williams. I want that for the record.
If that's how you interpret it, that's cool. But Trent Williams has more penalties than Jalen Moore per game. Trent Williams has given up more sacks per game than Jalen Moore.
Okay.
Now, if you want to make a case for Debo in his absence, I'm with you on that.
They did a next gen stat. They had a next gen stat, Brock, with Debo on the field, which he didn't have last year for 3 games. And people forget that. Let me get my Don show. Yes, people forget that. People forget he missed 3 games last year. But with him on the field, it changes the whole structure and dynamic of how a defense got to get ready. Because while 22 eyes is on 23, that 19 is giving you problems.
And that's what I was going to say.
Do the same thing when that 19 splits out wide. Now you got to look at that number 23 coming in like Jordan. It's different.
I was willing to give you that part, but I'm not going to sit here and say that Trent Williams is make or break for this 49ers team when Jalen Moore has been serviceable. I will never say that he's as good as Trent, but what I will say is he has not been a liability like a guy filling in for 19 and number 3 in McLeod. We're talking about 2 very different things. I just wanted to be clear.
Okay. I'm glad you cleaned that up. Amen. Glory to God. Mike went back to his presser, and he had his public relations people print a retraction. So let the record reflect. And then we got to look at Mike. Football is a game of blocking and tackling. I know we love stats. I know we love fantasy football. I know we love to look at numbers, and the girls go for the guys who score the touchdowns, who tall, who fast, who cute, all of that stuff. Receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, they dating Taylor Swift, tight end, all that good stuff. But it get down in the trenches, Mike. That's what this game is designed for. You got to win up front. And when I see my defense letting a quarterback go for not 6, not 7, not 8, but 8.6 a carry, just up the middle all the time, and Mixon, who won't average in nothing but 60 yards, and you break off 81 like Kobe in Toronto, Mike, I got reservations for that. I got reservations with that. You getting pushed around up front. You getting pumped. And I started seeing it with the Cowboy game last year when we were playing in the playoffs. It continued on, and it really showed in Philadelphia. It's a problem with this interior. It's a problem here. Javon Hargrave, who we paid all that money for, didn't even register on the stats today. 0. I don't know if he was there. You pay these tens of millions to somebody, it's supposed to get done. Nick Bosa, how many millions is Nick Bosa supposed to get this year? With that holdout and all of that? Nick Bosa, you soft on that edge, bro. Fred Warner, I see missed tackles. I see missed tackles, Fred Warner. Go ahead, point of order. Go ahead, Dan, the corn man.
I have a rebuttal to that. I saw a statistic today that said Nick Bosa on the season has 17 QB hits already with his 2.5 sacks. So I don't think he's soft on the edge.
Okay.
But he's just that half second late. Just that half second late.
Okay, take about that half of $35 million and give it back to me. Half of this, yeah, you doing about half of what you supposed to do. All right, that all I got to say.
Stops.
When I go look at the stats, all I see is Danielle Hunter. All I see is the kid in Cleveland, Garrett. All I see is TJ Watt. All I see is D Big, and I saw another kid, number 91. He's on that list too. Top 4, 7 sacks, and they ain't making the paper that Nick Bosa is on. Sometimes, man, you paying a lot for services not received or not rendered, and that is the catalyst and the whole premise of true value.
Did Nick Bosa get his deal before the season started or after the season started?
All I know is won't we on Nick Bosa watch? I did programs for Nick Bosa. He held out.
You know the answer to the question I asked.
Did he get a signing bonus? How much was the signing bonus?
Did Nick Bosa get his deal?
How much was the signing bonus?
Did Nick Bosa? You can't answer my question with a question.
Real quick.
It was a very direct question.
How much was the signing bonus, y'all?
There's only a one-word answer for this question. Did Nick Bosa get his deal before or after the season started?
It was the preseason, wasn't it?
It was before the season started, right?
Yeah. So now,
and at that point in time, he was the NFL sack leader. He didn't get paid for what he was gonna do this season. That's a projection. He got paid for what he has done and what they hope he brings to the table.
Well, he need to bring it to the table then, Mike.
Yeah.
That's what we paying him for.
Did y'all watch today's game?
He got paid for what he did.
Did y'all watch today's game?
We paying him for services we are expecting.
I want to see this. We needed to see this.
And we ain't getting what we paid for.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch today's game?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let me
Nick Bosa look better today?
Let me leave Nick
He did
Bosa
look
alone.
okay today, but that's one guy.
Against Mike. You ain't gonna get win that against. Okay, maybe Nick Bosa was all pro, and maybe he did have 6 sacks today. I didn't see it, but maybe he did have it. All right, but I see a lot of missed tackles around here. I see
I was
running
Nick
backs
Bosa's
running
fault.
around who ain't supposed to run like that. That's not supposed to happen against a top defense, Mike. That just simply ain't supposed to.
How are missed tackles Nick Bosa's fault? That's a secondary problem.
I went on from Nick Bosa. Wait, is this thing on mute?
No.
I said I'll submit to Nick Bosa. Maybe he's great. Maybe he's all y'all
Okay,
wanted
I
to
didn't
be.
hear that. It cut off. My
Okay,
bad.
okay. But Mike, I see missed tackles. I see getting beat up front. I see running backs running that ain't supposed to do. Joe Mixon is not Christian McCaffrey. He is not Derrick Henry. He is not coming in here. I did the numbers. That dude don't run but 60 yards 60 yards a game. You sitting there with Kobe doing 81. Something ain't right. Joe Burrow is not Lamar Jackson, a featured 4-3 legit. You got 8.9 a carry. Something's amiss.
So is your goal to deflect and put the blame on everybody else other than Brock Purdy, or are you going to say that the team is bad?
Ain't it? Did anybody hear me go? Did anybody hear me go in on Brock Purdy? Did anybody miss that?
That's what I was getting ready to say,
No.
He already alluded to the fact
Did
that
I
he threw
lead
the two
on
picks.
Daddy P?
But it's a team
Did I lead
game.
off on that?
No,
Did I lead
no.
off on Brock Purdy?
No. See, I pay attention to words. You did not go in on Brock Purdy. You acknowledged his faults, but said, okay, he did that, and then you proceeded to go in on guys like Nick Bosa and his contract. You proceeded to go in on other players.
You want some quick, pithy insults? I hear him all. I told you he was Jimmy G 2.0. He won't nothing but Jimmy G. I'm agreeing, which I'm giving you everything you want, but it's still not enough, is it?
What
because
I'm saying
we
is
have
this.
these schizophrenic, bipolar, move-on fans who, even if Patrick Mahomes was here,
What I'm
he
asking
would be ready
is a
to leave
simple
this
question.
place.
What I'm asking is a very, very simple question. Are you acknowledging that the team is bad, or are you trying to blame everybody except Brock Purdy?
It's a team game, Mike. Top to bottom.
We've
been saying the same thing.
That's a team. It's a team game. It's always gonna be a team. This ain't golf. This ain't Parcheesi. This ain't Rough House 21. It's a team game.
So then,
I mean, because he talked about the penalties.
We've been saying the same thing for the last 3.5 hours. We've been saying the same thing for the last 3.5 hours. I don't get it. I don't get it.
We all gonna be saying the same thing because I mean we seeing what we seeing. It ain't all Brock. We ain't gonna put all the play on, but like Teradon started off with the simple fact that the penalties hurt. First and 20, you gotta change up, you gotta throw up your script.
No.
And there was plenty of those.
No, it was 5 of those. Y'all not gonna blame penalties on today's loss. It was 5 penalties. Season
and it was execution, Mike. Isn't that part of the team faltering? If you don't get the holding
as much as them. Don't just look at how many. Oh, it won't but 5. It was 5 times more than them. They got their first penalty in the fourth quarter.
And it was 5 penalties on the 49ers. So what?
Okay, let's say it was 10 penalties. That would have been, let's say they had 10 penalties, 5 times as much. That would have been 50. Is my math right?
What you're saying doesn't matter. We saw an improvement on the team from the penalty aspect today, and we still lost. The defense let up 31 points. Say that then, right? I'm not happy with the defense. I'm not happy with the offensive production. I'm not happy with the 5 penalties. It was
some
a team
of the reasons
loss.
the defense gave up them points is because of penalties.
No, not really.
Kittle had 2. Okay, let's talk about Kittle with the 2 drop passes.
If y'all don't,
and Ayuk with the 1 drop pass.
He got a drop.
Y'all don't accept the reality.
These are all. But Mike, we're saying the same thing because this is a team effort, and the whole team had a bad game. Ayuk dropped a vital pass. Let bounce off his face mask.
Yep,
that's
he sure
team.
did.
That's
sure
team.
did. We addressed that.
That ain't Brock. That ain't Brock.
How-
That ain't the run. That ain't the pass protection. That's on Ayuk. And if he makes that catch, which it's a different game. Even then, if Kittle makes that catch, it's a different game right there. The whole team played bad.
I got 3 questions for y'all. If y'all
Go ahead.
answer these questions, I won't say another word and I'll let y'all talk.
Go ahead.
I just got 3 questions for y'all. Question number 1. How many turnovers did this team have?
3.
Question number 2. How many points off turnovers did the Bengals have?
14 or 17.
One of the two. Let's just call it 14. Let's call it 14 and lowball it.
Okay.
Who was responsible for those 3 turnovers?
Brock Purdy.
The floor is y'all's.
Wait, but okay.
No, there's no argument.
One of those
That's absolutely
was because the left tackle missed and got beat.
Yeah.
And that's how he get that. That's where the strip sack came from. So that's not totally on Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
That's not totally on him. He ain't got the protection failed right there.
It is on him. It
Who's
is on
in
him.
charge-
He threw the
Who's
ball.
in charge of the protection?
He
Who's
threw
in
the
charge of
ball.
No, who's in charge?
He has to be protected though.
Who's in
Does
charge
he
of the
not?
protection?
The funny thing
But when
is,
you're rolling,
wait, wait.
you have
The
two
funny
guys in
thing
your
is-
face. What are you gonna do? You keep that
Who's
ball.
in charge
Dan,
of the protection?
Dan, the funny thing is,
Yeah, I
the
answered
play
y'all
they're talking
questions.
about is the one where it was a
Y'all
strip
don't wanna
sack
answer mine.
where
It's
he
all good.
extended the play and ran outside the pocket. They're not talking about the interception. They talking about when the pressure came from the left side and he ran and extended the play and couldn't find him, like double, triple clutch.
I
instead
said
of throwing
started
the
there
ball
because we
away,
said
he held on
3,
for it
right?
for-
You said
he
there was
held on
we
for it
said
for
there
too
was
long.
3. And let me get the clarity out because you said there was 3.
Okay.
And
All right.
one was not all on Brock Purdy because of the protection. That's a team that we all saying the same thing because we're all saying this was a team effort and the team lost because the whole team played bad. If that guy doesn't get through, then Brock doesn't have to run out the pocket, get the strip sack, trying to do too much, trying to come back in a losing effort of the game. Right?
Yeah.
Am I
That's
right
it.
about that, Tito? Okay, so
Talk about
now let's talk about the 2 interceptions. Bad, dumb. He admitted it. He got on the podium and admitted, I tried to make something that wasn't true. I tried to do too much. He said that emphatically. We saw it. And honestly, what all he really basically said was, I panicked in the moment. I was trying to become Superman when I'm not, and that wasn't there, and I made a mistake. We got to move on from that because that happens to every quarterback at some point in time. But in the whole aspect of everything, the penalties, that's team. That's on the team. Brock didn't do the false start. Brock didn't do he didn't put them in a 1st and 20, right? That's not on him. Cause and I see you, Mike. I see the like how Wayne be talking about your facial expressions. But
Okay, but I here you go. If y'all want to give Brock Purdy 70-80% of the blame, all the blame,
like really,
I want you to give him 100% of the credit when we win and
right?
we put up them 30. That's my
Yeah,
deal. That's my deal. You give him the credit he deserves for starting this thing out 5-0, putting up 30 a game, and having that plus 100 that nobody else has in the history of man. No 7th round
Ever
pick
done.
has
Ever.
ever will. I'm putting it right now. No 7th round pick has ever come in as a rookie and played like Brock Purdy and put up the numbers he did and got 2 playoff wins under his belt. You give him that
one more caveat,
you're giving them all the blame. Go ahead, bro.
One more caveat. Even though I had brought up Patrick Mahomes earlier, go look up his stats for his first starts. See, Tom Brady. Go look up his first and see. There's a reason that we all believed in Brock Purdy, and now that he's had, and really against the number 1 defense, that was a bad game on both sides of the ball too, offensively and defensively. Brock played hella good. Everybody played really, really good, really bad, whatever you want to call it. They had a chance. That's really 6 points because we missed 2 field goals in that game. One of those, we win that game.
And a drop by IU that
exactly.
But you know how they do. You know how they
Right.
do.
So
They forget all that unless
we don't
he
want to give.
wins it, gets 30
So
and
he
wins the
had-
Super Bowl and gets 5 championships. Don't compare him to nothing like that. But you don't do the raw comparison. You don't do the raw. You don't do the raw.
Because the boy was
You got
on
to go
fire.
back in the dudes, go back in the annals of time and look at a man who just entered the league. Go back and do it. I compare him to, it ain't nothing but a couple of comparisons. It just simply ain't. Y'all go back and say, well, he ain't number Jimmy G. Jimmy G had been in the league for 5 years when he got here.
Yes.
And that's
This
what
is
you got to
first.
compare him to, a 5-year vet who sat behind the GOAT and did the champagne ride for 2 daggone rings.
Y'all are very passionate about a conversation that never took place on this show.
No, it's your chat. It's your chat, man. It's your chat. It's Twitter.
Okay.
It's all of these people.
I was about to
It's
say,
everybody who just has sit and waited for the demise of it's people who just endured and loved Trey so much. It's all of them, man. It's all of them. And I have to take this smoke, but I got smoke too. And if you want to come at it, you come at it. But if you come at the man, you best not miss.
Go ahead, Dan.
So I have a question for you. Who have you seen have not given Brock Purdy the credit for the wins that he gave us both last year and this year?
Shannon Shaw.
Because I honestly would love to know.
A lot of people, but not y'all.
I'll just throw that one out there.
You
That's
can't
latest
say
in the
Shannon.
radio.
You can't say a lot of people.
There's a lot of people on not. I mean, I watch a lot of different podcasts and NBC and all them different guys. So it's a lot of guys out there that are saying, "Oh, he's just a system quarterback and waiting on his demise." And I want to see him fall into adversity and have to come behind from some, but not actually.
Hey, Danny P. Hey, if you take all his players away,
right,
put a hand behind his back,
right, they out there,
and take his
they out
coach.
there. Not here, not on your show.
And do all of that. He's just a regular guy.
Y'all are on here yelling and preaching to national media. Nobody in this chat, there's 230 people plus watching right now. Everybody in this chat said, hey, Brock Purdy's good. Brock Purdy's great. Nope, nobody in this chat has been down on Brock Purdy until these last 3 games in a row.
All of them.
Right.
So y'all are wasting energy.
I gotta give. I'm sorry. Let me go here. OG 49er 6'8". Him to everybody who comes to see my chat. You don't understand, man. I've been in here like Clarence Thomas at the Source Awards. And everybody been coming at me because I identified a ball player who I know can do this. And Kyle said, hey, man, he the real deal. And I said, yeah, he is the real deal. They like, oh, see.
Hey, but all those stats, all 12 of those starts, all those 30-plus points games, what did that get us these last 3 games? That shit don't mean nothing, fellas. It don't mean anything. When the league catch up to you, it catch up to you. You got to adopt.
So the league done caught up to him. He done. He out of here.
Did I say that?
We need to get a new quarterback. That's the argument that all of them say too. The league gonna catch up to him.
But you not talking to all of them.
Come
You're
back
talking
to earth. All them arguments. He's big and dumb. He don't. He can't do this. He can't do this. He can't come back. All I hear is he can't.
I don't want you to talk to all of them. I'm talking to you right now. Did you hear the beginning of the show?
No, sir. No, I was on with lockdown.
Corey, I came on.
Shout out to Corey Davis. His birthday was today.
I came on and I made it sound like, and I said Brock Purdy is turning into Jimmy G 2.0. But hear me out. Here was my twist. It was, hear me out. Don't nod your head like you know what I'm saying until you hear what I'm saying. Okay. I said Brock Purdy's turning into Jimmy G 2.0. And here's a very short synopsis of it. Jimmy came in on a 5-game high. The Niners made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. They were riding high because Jimmy started here. And as soon as Jimmy showed a little bit of decline, they were ready to move on from him for the next 4 seasons. True or false? Just give me a true or false.
That's true because they wanted to go cheap in the quarterback room.
Right.
Right.
And so now what I said was Brock Purdy started on a high for
Mhm.
12 games, more than Jimmy. But what I'm worried about is Kyle won't let this young man develop. And he's going to move on from him too soon because he's starting to see a consistent decline. That was my point. I don't want them to treat him the way that they treated Jimmy Garoppolo. And I said he is turning into Jimmy G 2.0 right before our eyes. I'm not talking about the results. I'm talking about how the team assesses quarterbacks. They have no patience for guys who don't start and stay here. They like Nick Mullins when he first started. 400 plus yards. Kyle went to the podium and sang all the praises of Nick Mullins. And as soon as Nick Mullins went from here to here, it was time to move on.
Okay.
Got Jimmy Garoppolo back, and Jimmy's play didn't stay here. They tried to get Tom Brady. They tried to get Matt Stafford. They traded up and got Trey Lance. Right? As soon as Jimmy's play didn't stay here, Kyle and this team were off of him, and they wanted to move on. And my point was they are going to do the same exact thing to Brock Purdy, and they shouldn't. So when you go back and watch the first 30 minutes of this episode, you're going to hear me saying over and over that he is Jimmy 2.0. But the point is how the team sees him, not what I think they should do with him. They should give this kid more time. Nobody on this panel, nobody in this chat said, get rid of this guy. He's a bum. He's washed. I do think the league has figured him out, but that's not a knock because the league had Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills figured out when he first got here. But the team was patient enough to let him develop and grow into the NFL form. This team under Kyle Shanahan for the last 7 years has not shown the propensity to let a quarterback develop after the NFL adjusts to that player. Not once have they shown the patience to let a guy show, not only can the league figure me out, give me the opportunity to go back and respond to what the league figured out about me. They have not shown it. And I fear because of Shanahan's extension, because of Lynch's extension at the beginning of this season, they're going to be too quick to move on from another quarterback. They did it with Trey Lance after 4 starts. They did it with Jimmy, and they were over Jimmy after the 2019 season.
Okay.
They cannot let that happen to Brock Purdy right now. We can't keep moving on from quarterback to quarterback and expect this team to be good.
I don't expect that. I don't think anybody even is asking for that. Even not in the chat. I can't see the chat right now. We're not even asking for that. We're not even I don't think that's the case. Contractually, one of the reasons they wanted to get rid of Jimmy is because they knew the people they wanted to keep were the people they wanted to keep, and they foreseeing that. So the design was to go cheaper in the quarterback room, which was why they went for the reach for Trey Lance, thinking that he was going to be able to come in and do some things. I have a whole soliloquy about the inner workings on what happened with Trey Lance and why that didn't work out. I won't get into that right now, but with this guy, we've seen when the team, because again, this still is about a team effort. Because honestly, Brock did a lot of things really, really, really good today. And he did have those 2 interceptions that were really bad. But if you correlate the game all together, once again, all of it's a team. 2 drop passes equate to those 2 interceptions. Because those 2 drop passes means he might didn't have to throw those 2 extra passes to begin with, right?
Yeah.
If we do it by the math. So of those 3 or 4 drop passes that happened in the game were 2 of those passes that he wasn't going to have to end up throwing.
And I'm constantly charting the game. Red means something I noticed and it's bad. Green is something I'm good. I saw some layered throws from Brock. I saw him go to the outside hash, throw that thing back left, very dangerous. I saw that.
But beautiful.
Twice. I saw him going to Kittle. Kittle had 109 yards today.
No, he had more than that. He ended with like 150.
and Brandon Ayuk was over 100 today.
Yes.
And that's with them 2 drops. I know. Hey, it's inexplicable to throw picks.
And Kittle talked about it too with the run game.
You
The
guys
run
are
game,
ignoring
the outside zone.
Y'all are willfully ignoring some
point.
very obvious signs, right?
Okay.
Don't talk to me about yards when the team is down 2 scores all game. Those are called garbage yards. Those are called garbage stats. They get accumulated, right? What we have to acknowledge is something, right? And again, I want to be very clear with what I'm about to say. I'm not saying we should move on from Brock Purdy. There's no other quarterback I want for the 49ers right now. Let me be very, very clear with what I'm saying. But the question around the league was, what happens if you got to play from behind consistently? 0-3. These are facts. The turnovers pick up more the later in the game that they go. Could the league be adjusting to him? Yes, and they should be. This is what happens when you get a full season worth of tape on a quarterback. They should be adjusting to him. Kyle has to have the patience to let this kid respond, guys. That's what I'm ending on. That's what I started with. That's what I'm ending on. This is all going to come full circle.
That's where we try to get to.
Have the patience. There's so many people saying, "Uh-oh, it's Sam Darnold time." Coming out the bye week, it's Sam Darnold time. I'm personally not there. I don't want
definitely not.
I believe in chemistry. I believe in letting teams and players grow with each other.
All right. I got 2 questions real quick.
But I don't want y'all. Wait, hold on. But I don't want y'all to ignore his faults that we are seeing right now. That's more important than just he did this and he did that and he did this. This is 3 games, down multiple scores, playing from behind.
And what is he trying to do? He's trying to play hero ball.
In 3 football games is 180 minutes. And if I'm not mistaken, the Niners have been behind for 172 of those 180 minutes. First time in his career that has happened. First time in his career that has happened. And he is not showing the signs of somebody that looks like he can lead teams back. That's okay. But we got to stay patient is what I'm saying. That's all.
A few questions. You mentioned that Brock is really good for this system, and this system is Kyle's system and Kyle's play calling, is it not?
I think so.
And Brock has executed Kyle's system better as in terms of quantifying with points than anybody else for the San Francisco 49ers since 2017, correct?
Sure. Even during 2017, we weren't putting up 30-plus points a game. So, yeah.
A lot of people say he's a system quarterback.
He is.
Is the league catching up with Brock, or are they catching up with Kyle Shanahan's system?
Both can be true. Both can be true. We won't know until Kyle shows the patience to let Brock adjust now. And that's my entire point. That's my point. We won't know. There's no such thing. Listen to me. There's no such thing as a franchise quarterback that's not a system quarterback. Drew Brees is a system quarterback under Sean Payton. The Chargers didn't want anything to do with him.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right. Ben Roethlisberger was a system quarterback in Pittsburgh. That was the system.
All of them.
Right. Dan
Russell Wilson is a system quarterback.
Tom Brady uses the Earnhardt Perkins system.
There's no such thing as a franchise quarterback that is not a system quarterback. Andy Reid has Patrick Mahomes and vice versa. These guys are tied together through eternity, right? Patrick Mahomes, like it or love it, is a system quarterback, and that system belongs to Andy Reid. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not. When people say that, we shouldn't be offended.
I don't even understand the concept of why they say that, because it's the dumbest. Russell Wilson's been in 2, and he's a system quarterback of 2 different systems. He's not running the same offensive system and scheme over there in Colorado as he was in Seattle. So that system quarterback crap makes me sick.
And the greatest quarterback of all time is Tom Brady. He was a system quarterback in New England, and when he went over to Tampa Bay, guess what he brought with him?
System with him.
That damn system and players from that system. Stop it, people. It's not a knock. It's
It's
okay for Brock Purdy to be a system quarterback. But
Right.
now when the league catches up to the system and the quarterback and his tendencies, we got to let them counter the league's counter.
Right.
That's where we are.
And I believe to go to your point, I honestly believe the reason we've seen the turnover in quarterbacks was always first and foremost for him. When he first came in, he inherited the quarterback. He didn't want him. He worked with him, get out of the guys, start building, right? Move on. Nick Mullins. I just didn't ever see whatever we saw in Nick Mullins to begin with.
Yeah, he was
had
hot. He was a hot little
hot.
backup.
He was just hot, but he wasn't. It just
was a hot.
It looked systematic to
Yeah.
me. It didn't look like he was actually could do what Brock or what Jimmy was doing. Okay, so moving on from that. Now Jimmy, we got, and I'm not gonna do all the names, but y'all know we got a buku of high-paid players and high-paid positions that are backbones of this team and this system that they are going to pay. Ayuk is gonna get paid. I don't think he's going nowhere as much as everybody wants to talk trades and all this. Ayuk ain't going nowhere. Kyle is developing a system, and I really, truly, honestly believe because it is okay. Has Brock just gone out there and everything was going good and he was just throwing interceptions? When the defense was stopping and the offense was clicking and the protection was there and everybody on the team was playing really good, we see the outcome and we see the potential. Then we was all like, oh, we could see 40s and 50 games, right? But as another aspect of it, we've seen the entire team on both sides of the ball play bad. That defense against the Vikings, disgusting. Garbage. Today's defense, horrible. Penalties, horrible, stupid mistakes that are game-changing events. 1st and 20 ain't no mop. Not Mike. I mean, it's not. When you gotta now try to go 20 yards instead of 10 yards in the same 4 plays, that's a game changer. That's most likely in most situations end up in a punt.
Yeah, man. And it's in my notes. It's in my notes, man. It was nullifying first down runs sometimes, Mike. I know it won't be 5. It won't be 5, but when Christian run for 11, and then we got to bring that thing back, and now it's 1st and 20.
That's 1st and 15, 1st and 20.
It hit different, man.
I to answer your question, Mike. No, I honestly don't think Kyle is just going to be, oh, no, we finna move on. I don't think we're going to see Sam Darnold after the break. I just don't. I really, truly believe that Kyle isn't just analyzing one guy. He's looking at everything because all these 3 losses were not all on Brock Purdy. It was also bad defense. It was also bad execution on the offense. You clean that up, and we've had proof of when that's cleaned up, what we can do. When we get in those first drives, touchdowns, first drives, when we're not going 3 and outs on our first drive like we did today, when we're executing and driving down the field with the system, because the system has been working. I don't think anybody's caught up with it. I think for the most part, it's been just, I mean, the Browns game,
he dumbed it down. It's like it's dumbed down. I don't see the folds. I don't see the wham. I don't see the counter trays. I don't see Juice doing that one when I'm gonna tell you, Mike. I went to the Super Bowl in Miami when we played the Chiefs. Do you know when I purchased the hotel accommodations and everything? That Monday night when we played the Cleveland Browns, and I saw Juice come out of the backfield on a straight counter play, and he went one way and looped back around the other and it looked like a serpentine coming at them linebackers, and they had no answer for it. I said, D, go ahead and book the hotel down in Miami. We going there. It was like week 10. And my wife will attest. I said, go ahead and book it. They ain't got no answer for this. You got number one defense, and they ain't got no answer for this. And then we played Luke Kuechly, a very astute linebacker. I'm down here in Carolina, man. I know linebackers. I know what it takes to get in there. Luke Kuechly, we played them Carolina Panthers and wiped the floor with them. And Luke Kuechly said he just threw his hands up. How you gonna pull two offensive linemen this way and then come back, wrap around, and run that ball that way? He was like, it's defying the laws of football defensive logic. What you doing out here? I don't see that, Mike. I don't see that.
It's not there.
I see very vanilla zone read, and you ain't running nothing off of it, man.
It's not there. It's not there, and this team looks different.
The game's been horrible the last 3 games.
Yeah, and we heard George Kittle allude to as much as that. You know, we're an outside zone team. We haven't been really doing that. There's a reason for a lot of changes and all that. Guys, listen, I got to get going soon, so we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna do some final thoughts. We got Terra Dome in the main screen. I would like Terra Dome to kick this final thought segment off, and then after that, we'll go to my man Dan, and then we'll wrap up with Daddy P. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get on out of here. But fellas, the floor is yours. Let's get these final thoughts off. You guys have been great. I want to thank y'all. Before y'all give y'all final thoughts, I want to thank y'all for gracing me with your presence, gracing the stage. Y'all have been great. I appreciate all of y'all thoughts. Dan, man, you jumped in here early. You held it down. And you know, like I said, to Terra Dome and Daddy P, you guys were great as well. Patient, very, very patient. And I appreciate it. So Terra Dome, the floor is yours, man.
Penalties, play calling, putting it on the ground. These are staples. You can't have that. You just simply can't have that. It's coaching. Let me throw penetration, pause. That's offensive line. And you just can't beat yourself, as the great Tony Dungy said. The first rule to winning, don't beat yourself. And those are self-beaters before you even get in anything. We got the bye week coming up. A lot of speculations going on. Trades are going to be made tomorrow by midnight. I really feel like we're going to be all right. Market correction is something that day traders know about and people who deal in stocks. You could be on an ascend, but there has got to be a bounce back to correct the market, and then it will jump back up. We peaked at a fever pitch when I was out there in San Francisco, California, against those Dallas Cowboys. This team is capable of a lot. We're going to get some injured players back, some people who were on injured reserve. We're going to have multiple DBs. And I'm feeling we're getting another pass rusher or something to solidify the LOS. Don't give up on the San Francisco 49ers just yet. Don't put dirt on us. And if you do, you're going to have to deal with Machiavelli the Don. That's my spiel.
And as I was sitting here listening to y'all squabble every now and then, y'all be talking about how Kyle Shanahan is bringing a systematic quarterback thing to an approach. I don't think that's the case because, number one, if Kyle Shanahan was bringing a system quarterback to the case, they would have figured that out a long time ago. His system and him would have been out the door within the third year, and Brock Purdy wouldn't even be here. That's just my take on it. Another thing is that they're figuring out Purdy and not figuring out Shanahan, because same thing. They would have figured out Shanahan a long time ago because he's been with the Niners since 2017. That's like his 6th year now. He would have been out the door a long time ago. We have to stay with the quarterback we have and not move on. We need to give him time to develop instead of 3 years. It's complicated. Fred Warner also scared the living crap out of me after Mike and I gave him all that praise for what he said, and then he comes out and says that afterwards. No way. And I'm calling it right now. We're going to lose to the Jaguars. We're going to get up 38 points, and we're only going to score 13. That's all I got.
Well, my final thoughts are it's going to mirror. It's going to be just a mirror image of what Terradome said for the most part. Look, ultimately, the whole entire team has to get better. It's the coaching, the running game. The running game is important to it. In the last 3 games, the running game has not been there. And that's a staple portion of our game. Kyle Shanahan said it a long time ago about why he likes to run the ball. And I think we all remember his answer was that you're protecting the ball more because you're putting the ball in harm's way the more you have to throw the ball. There's more chances for it to get knocked down, picked, or no yardage out of it. Whereas in the running game, less likely, right? So that's one of the reasons he likes to run the ball. And we haven't been able to run the ball. And that's a problem. Because we're asking a quarterback that does have some physical deficiencies and does need for the system and everybody in the system to execute correctly. We can't have penalties. Penalties are game drive stoppers, position changing aspects that have to be calculated and formulated into your game plan. Because once you have a certain play design and thoughts in mind of what I'm going to do from here, and this should do this and do that, then when those penalties happen, those mental errors happen, they're going to cause a change in what the plan is going to have to go from here. So now we're asking our quarterback to have to do certain things that is hard for any quarterback to do when it's a team game. I hope if Kyle them watching, yes, we do need to give him time to develop. We do need to make the corrections in the run game, and we seen it today how when he ran those play actions and Brock was just throwing the ball down the field and we ran down there and he was playing hero ball and it was working out with the passes across the field, across his body. But the defense also needs to step up. They had some moments, but we need consistency, and we need consistency on both sides of the ball, and even on special teams, because the guy got the run back pretty well, almost 40-yard run. So special teams. But no, we're not done. We're not done. We're going to go into this bye. We're going to make the corrections. We're going to get some people back. We're going to get our leaders back, Trent Williams. And I think even Trent will play. Trent's going to come back rejuvenated. Debo. And I think they're going to come back with a totally new fire. And no, I believe that we will make this run and we're going to easily make the playoffs. Number one seed is going to be a fight. We need some things to happen on the other side. But as you saw today, these guys can be beat. Everybody can be beat. And we're going to take it the next game and the next game. And I promise you this. The errors corrected, the penalties, the defense corrects and stop the run and pin their ears back. Them high-paid players that we got, that we paying to go out there and do a job right now, not for what they did, but we paying. We put the gas in the car go out there and run. That's what that money was for. That money wasn't for we ain't on gas on we ain't driving on E. You on a full tank, Bosa. You on a full tank, Hargrave. You on a full tank. Everybody out there, all of our quarterback ain't even the reason we got a cheap quarterback is because we got to pay these guys. Get out there and do what y'all supposed to do, and let's go out here and play like we've been playing in the first 5 games of this season and execute and go out here and remind people that we 30 Purdy, 30 and above, 30 plus, whatever name you want to give it, but this team can score and we can beat up on teams. And we got to start just man up, and we got this. And I'm not worried about it at all. And I'm gonna say it right now: we gonna beat the Eagles at home by 14. They corrected. We got it. Let's go. My final thoughts.
I respect it, man. I respect it. You know, guys, I hate to say this because George Kittle kind of stole some of my thunder, but, you know, he made a comment about, you know, this time last year, blah, 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 blah. Through 8 games last year, the 49ers were 4-4. All right. The games that the Niners lost, we only averaged 14.25 points a game. This year, we're 5-3. In those 3 games that we lost, we're putting up 17 points a game. The 4 games that we won last year, the Niners were averaging 29.7 points a game. And the 4 games that we won this year, we're averaging over 33. The Niners are a better team this year than we were last year. So says the record. So says the points scored. So says the points allowed. All right. The truth of the matter is, it's gut check time. Now, nothing is given. We got to go out there and earn it. Every blade of grass, we got to go out there and take it. And when our defense is on the field, we got to go out and protect it. We have to defend it. But it's not going to be easy. The difference between last year and this year is that nobody believed in Trey Lance. Then he got injured. The difference between last year and this year is that after Trey Lance got injured, nobody believed in Jimmy Garoppolo. Right now, with Brock Purdy in the center, the league is gunning for us. We went from doing the hunting to being the hunted. They're looking for us. While we were circling games on our calendars, teams are now circling us. Every single opponent. It's not going to be easy. There's no gimmies. And I'm not going to come out here and say that we're going to come out again and win 13 games after we went 13-4 last year. I predicted this team to go 14-3. Y'all know what I say? I'm right until I'm wrong. We're still on pace for that, but it's going to take a lot of work. Now, we get out of this here with 12 or 13 wins. I'll be happy about it. But the goal remains the same year after year. We got to just get to the dance. We got to stop looking at Super Bowls. We got to stop looking at playoffs right now. We have to look at corrective actions. 3 games in a row is uncharted territory for the 49ers, despite all the similarities I just showed y'all about the previous season. 3 games in a row is new territory for us. Brock Purdy and the young-minded quarterback losing 3 games is uncharted territory for us. Kyle Shanahan having shots thrown at him by George Kittle is new territory for us. Fred Warner throwing shots at the offense and the defense. Nick Bosa throwing shots at the defense is new territory for us. But there's this old saying from this movie called Spider-Man. What's that saying, Terry Dome? I know you know what that saying is. He don't know what it is? With great power comes great responsibility. The Niners got all the power in the world. The offense 3+ All Pros. The defense, 3+ All Pros. We're a stacked team. We're in a win now position. But I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't say that there's a loose thread in the fabric of the 49ers right now. And two things can happen to that thread. And although it's just one thread in the big blanket that makes up the 49ers, that one thread is very, very crucial. Any more pressure and pulling on that thread, and it can all unravel. Right now, this team is depending on the seamstress to find that thread and get it back where it's supposed to be, to reinforce that thread and make this fabric as strong and as sturdy as it should be. We hear about chains all the time. A chain is only as good as its weakest link. But after 3 losses in a row, I'm not even ready to say that we're a chain. That's too hard for us right now. That's okay. That's okay. But this thread, this cloth that we're supposed to be cut from, it's time for us as Niner fans and team to show who we really are. Guys, I'm done. I'm going to be back for a lot of shows throughout the week. And the week after that, before the Niners play again, my daughter's asleep, so I can say it. We will be in Jacksonville cheering our team on loud and proud. I have no idea what the outcome is going to be. But here's what I do know. Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to lose any more games. Fred Warner, Deebo Samuel, who's not even participating right now, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, Trent Williams, Kyle Juszczyk, Brandon Ayuk, Dre Greenlaw, Tyshawn Gibson. These guys don't want to lose any more games. And I completely believe that they're going to put their best foot forward. One thing about 3 losses in a row is that it is a humbling experience. And after you lose 3 in a row, you have no choice but to self-reflect. You lose 1 game, you can say, hey, that was on them. You lose 2 games, maybe that one was on me. But when you lose 3 in a row, you have no choice but to say, that's on us. This is the perfect time for a bye week. The coaching staff, the offense, the defense, and even the special team have no choice but to reflect and blame themselves for what is happening to this 49ers team. The Super Bowl window is not closed. It still exists. It's still here. But it will go away if that one thread is pulled anymore. That's all I got for you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I hope y'all enjoyed the passion. I hope you guys enjoyed the guests that we had on. And I hope you enjoyed what the 49ers players and coach had to say at the podium. We'll be back for a lot more. Prepare for glory. Anticipate pain. But always remain faithful. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey. See, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you look in the